Okay, just wait a sec, everybody. Just double checking that this is working. Just give me a minute here, guys. Hold on. Once again, just give me a sec here. And hello, it looks like we are live. Okay, welcome back, everyone, to our fifth playoff live stream of the 2026 Stanley Cup playoffs. Haven't done one of these since last Friday, so I've been off for a couple of days when it comes to the live videos. But we are having another live stream here. Today, we are doing Game 5, potentially an elimination game between the Boston Bruins and the Buffalo Sabres. So this is going to be a very interesting one. The game has not started yet, and there are no games currently on right now. So you are not missing anything. I just have to do a couple of really quick things. So once again, I'm just going to do a quick things here, and then we are going to get into the game, and we'll talk about a couple of things as we wait for this to happen. So just give me a second here, guys. I do appreciate all of you guys for tuning in. I thank you for it. Once again, you're not missing anything. The game has not started yet. So just give me a sec here, guys. Once again, some very interesting games happened over the past couple of days. So those are some very interesting ones. We'll get to all of the series updates, as we do have some very interesting ones. And I'll also tell you guys about my future schedule, as I'm not sure if any of you guys saw my community posts on it, but I will be telling you guys about that. So I do appreciate you guys all for tuning in. Once again, this is my second earlier game that I'm doing. I did the first game I did last week was Penguins and Flyers, and that was an earlier game. But the last three I did were all in the later portion of the day. So just give me a second here, guys, as I finish this up. Hold on. Just give me 1 minute here. Once again, you're not missing anything. So once again, I do appreciate you guys all for tuning in, and I thank you for that. Once again, let's just see. Just give me a moment here, guys. I'm just trying to connect some things here to make the stream smoother. So just give me a few seconds. Just going to try and see if I can upgrade this a little bit here. Hold on a minute here, guys. Just give me one quick second, and we should be up and running soon. So I do appreciate you guys all for tuning in. Once again, there's no games that are on right now, and Boston Buffalo has yet to start, so you are not missing anything. Once again, it'll probably be starting in about 5-ish minutes, maybe a little bit sooner than that. So once again, once it gets started, we'll be doing some live play-by-play, but until then, I am just trying to figure a couple of things out here. So once again, I do appreciate you guys all for tuning in. I thank you. Hold on, I'm just trying to get a couple of things working, trying to get the stream a little bit better, and then I'm going to do some play-by-play. I hope you guys all tune in, subscribe, comment, like, tell all your friends. Best hockey content on YouTube is right here at the End to End Hockey channel. So if you guys aren't already subscribed, 90% of you guys who view my videos are not subscribed. So I definitely do hope you guys subscribe if you want up-to-date live hockey content. So just give me a second here, guys. Let's see here. And it does look like that's good. Okay, hold on a minute here, folks. Just going to try and finish this. And it looks like that is up and running. Just give me a minute here. And that looks like it's good. Okay, so I thank you guys all for tuning in. I do appreciate it. I'll be with you here for the next couple of hours, as we are going to be doing a Boston Bruins Buffalo Sabres play-by-play. So this is going to be a very interesting one. Just let me get back up to the stream for a minute here. Once again, you are not missing anything. The game has yet to start. Looks like they're just about to do Anthem. So you're not missing anything. Once again, hello, everyone. If you're just tuning in, today we are doing a Boston Buffalo live stream. So it's going to be a very interesting live stream. The Bruins are facing elimination. They went into, Boston went into back home. Boston went back home trying to at least turn the split, but they lost both games at TD Garden. The first one was a very close one. It was 2-1 for the Buffalo Sabres, and then they got an empty netter to make it 3-1. But the second one, Buffalo scored 4 first-period goals in TD Garden, and we're on their way to a 6-1 victory over Boston. So if you guys do not know, Buffalo is my 4th favorite team. So having them advance in the game that I am live streaming on home ice would just be something fantastic. So I definitely do think this is going to be a very interesting game. I think Boston's going to come out firing. They've been playing really well in Buffalo. So we'll see if Boston's able to extend this series and send it to a game 6. That will be happening on, I think, Friday next week. or if Buffalo is going to be able to advance to the second round for the first time in I think nearly 2 decades. I think the last time they advanced past round one was in the late 2000s. So once again, it's been a while since Buffalo has been able to make the playoffs and get to the second round. Once again, you're not missing anything; they're just doing the anthems. So thank you. Hi to Marshall. I do appreciate you for tuning in. I thank you for that. We do have 2 games that are going to be happening later today. So when there are intermissions or some commercial breaks later on into the game, I will be checking in on these 2 games. The game that's going to be starting in about half an hour is Dallas, Minnesota. That is a 2-2 series. That is a very interesting game. Minnesota won the first one in a blowout, and then we've had 3 narrow margin games in which Dallas won game 2, Dallas won game 3, and then Minnesota won game 4. So that one was a very interesting game. And once again, winner of today's game will go into game 6 on Thursday with a 3-2 series lead, a game which I will also be streaming. That is the next streaming game. They haven't come out with the times yet, so I don't know what that is. I'll probably be around 6, I would guess, maybe 6:30, depending on what happens with the Anaheim-Edmonton game later tonight, my guess would be. But I'm expecting it to probably be around 6 or 6:30, so that will be my next stream, Dallas, Minnesota on Thursday, so mark it in your calendars. And the later game today is Edmonton-Anaheim. The Oilers will be trying to stave off elimination. Don't know if you guys have heard, but McDavid and Dickinson are both game time decisions. So it's going to be a mountain of a task if Edmonton has to face Anaheim in an elimination game without Connor McDavid. So that'll be interesting to see if he's able to go or not. They're going to put Ingram back in for Edmonton in that game. So that's going to be very interesting. So all in all, it's going to be an extremely interesting game later tonight. Once again, that game will probably get started just around the time this one's finishing up. So we might be able to check in on the first few minutes, depending on how long this game goes as well. So very interesting note there. Once again, you're not missing anything. They're currently just doing the anthems. And then we'll be getting underway. Once again, Buffalo looking to advance to the second round for the first time in nearly 2 decades. So once again, it's been a while. I'm a Buffalo Sabres fan. I love the Buffalo Sabres. They are my 4th favorite team. So I am definitely hoping that this Buffalo Sabres team is able to advance. And how have you guys been liking the game so far? Last night, we saw 2 very interesting ones. I mean, the Penguins won 3-2 over the Philadelphia Flyers, and they've been able to make that a series. Imagine if Pittsburgh wins tomorrow and sends it to 7. I don't know, but maybe there's a potentiality Crosby and the Penguins reverse sweep the Flyers. Like, that would be interesting. And then also yesterday we saw a very good back and forth game between the Knights and the Mammoth, as the Knights were able to take the 5-4 overtime victory, had a 3-0 lead in that game. And then Utah scored 4 unanswered. Knights tied up in the 3rd, and then the Mammoth wound up losing it in overtime. There was actually a disallowed goal earlier in yesterday's game for the Golden Knights in overtime that wound up being called back. So some very interesting games yesterday. The series is, as we sit right now, the Avalanche have swept the Los Angeles Kings in 4 games, so that series is done. The Dallas Stars Minnesota Wild are a 2-2 series, and they're going game 5 tonight. The Mammoth and Knights are a 2-2 series. Their game 5 goes tomorrow, if I'm correct. And the Ducks lead the Oilers 3-1 and have a chance to put them away later tonight at 8 p.m. Mountain Time. In the Eastern Conference, you have the Carolina Hurricanes, who have swept the Ottawa Senators, so that series is done. The Philadelphia Flyers currently lead the Pittsburgh Penguins 3-2 in their series, so that one's very interesting. The Buffalo Sabres currently lead the Boston Bruins 3-1 and have a chance to put them away tonight in this game that we're doing right here. And then the Montreal Canadiens and Tampa Bay Lightning are in a 2-2 series, and we'll see who gets the 3-2 series lead in tomorrow's game. But they are just starting the game here, folks. So once again, it'll be a very interesting live stream between Boston and Buffalo. It looks like they're just hyping up the crowd right now. So you are not missing anything, but we are just about to get underway for Boston-Buffalo Game 5 action, potential elimination game for the Boston Bruins. So very interesting to note there. Boston could get eliminated after tonight. So very interesting to note there. It's been a very interesting playoffs. And once again, we do have more coming out in the very near future. We're live streaming Dallas, Minnesota Game 6 on Thursday. We're going to do another live stream on Friday and another live stream on Saturday. Maybe Sunday, we'll see. But we're underway. Boston wins the draw. They pass it back to their defenders, and now they hurry up the ice. Kuznetsov missed it. Now Buffalo's got it. Potential 2-on-1. Quinn's got it. Loops it back around, trying to get it to one of his defenders. Can't. Now he does shoots, and that one goes, I think it took a deflection, out of play. Offenses on face-off draw, I think, for Buffalo with 17 seconds gone in the first period. So once again, they're just showing some of the line combinations right now as we get ready for the next face-off draw. So this will be very interesting. Once again, the matchup in net is Lyon, who's getting a third straight start against Jeremy Swayman. And since Lyon's come in, he has been fantastic for Buffalo. So we shall see if that continues on tonight. Once again, McLeod is just waved out of the face-off draw, and now it is Zucker, and Zucker loses it to Zacha, and the Boston Bruins are able to clear it to the line. Buffalo keeps it in, and now the puck does go out of the zone. Buffalo to the other side, and I think that was Quinn who loops it around the Bruins end. Zacha's going to get possession, trying to start something up. He gets it to Zadorov. Zadorov gets it to red line, dumps it in, and Buffalo is going to lose possession of the puck. Here's Pastrnak around in the slot, shoots, and that's going to be stopped by Lyon, or he just put over the net. And now Buffalo's got a little bit of a break here, missed pass, and Boston's going to recover in the neutral zone. Here comes Charlie McAvoy, loops it around, gets it to the other side, shoots, and it's just going to deflect wide. Nice stop there from Lyon. Krebs fighting for it, cannot. Now it is, I think that's Minton and Geeky are out there right now with Middlesex. Shoots, and that's going to be stopped by Lyon. Buffalo behind their own net, trying to get something going, and the puck goes behind the Sabres net. And it's in front. Nice intercept by Dahlin in front of Lyon, and Dahlin takes it and clears the puck to the neutral zone, and Boston's going to be able to recover. Here comes, I think that's Isamont. Isamont shoots, and it's stopped by Lyon. He covers up with a minute and a half gone in the first period, and a scoreless first period that is. So very interesting to note there. Once again, I appreciate you guys all for tuning in. And if you haven't already, like, subscribe, comment, leave a chat down below. Would love to hear how you guys are feeling about all the playoff games so far. So I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on all of that. Once again, you're not missing much. We are a minute and a half into the period, and it is currently a scoreless game. Boston with the offensive zone face-off draw here against the Buffalo Sabres, and that's Lindholm, and he is going to be waved out, I think. And now Isamont comes in to take the face-off draw for Boston. And the face-off is now going to be won by Buffalo, get back below the goal line, and Power's going to take it, feed it around the boards, and get out of the zone. Smart play from Power. And now it's Malenstein who dumps it down. It's behind Swayman. Swayman's going to recover, get it back to, I think that's Hampus Lindholm, and they get it back up. This might be a little bit of a break here. Here it comes, and it's offside. Never mind. Isamont, I think, was offside, and the Boston Bruins are going to get a neutral zone face-off draw just outside of the Buffalo Sabres blue line. Apparently, Lindy Ruff is 7-0 in the postseason as head coach when leading 3-1 in the best-of-7 series. So, really good track record for the Buffalo Sabres head coach after getting up to a 3-1 series lead. So, we shall see how this one goes. Remember, if Buffalo does advance today, they will be hosting whoever wins the Montreal-Tampa series in round 2. So, that could be very interesting. Lindholm's got it again against one of the Buffalo Sabres, and the Bruins do win it. Hampus Lindholm taking it, and he's going to dump it down into the Buffalo Sabres zone. Goes around the boards, and it goes around the other side. Boston just trying to keep in the zone, and they do for a little bit, but Power recovers possession, and Buffalo now has it. Trying to get it. Oslin, nice play, gets it into the neutral zone, and they do gain the offensive line. Here comes Oslin, shoots, stopped by Swayman, rebound, and Swayman's able to cover up, and now there's some pushing and fighting behind the goal line between Kostelic and I can't see who that was. It was one of the Buffalo Sabres players, and Mark Kostelic were going at it behind the net. That's Benson, who was going after it with Kostelic. And I think there's just going to be a whistle here. Nice try from Buffalo, trying to get a shot away, and they were able to. Swayman had a little bit of problems with it, but Swayman is able to keep it out of the Boston net. So good stuff there from Swayman. And there's actually going to be a penalty on the play. Kostelic is going to the box. I don't know if he did something earlier or like it was an interference or roughing minor. But Buffalo's going to the power play just over 2 minutes into the first period. So we shall see if Buffalo's going to be able to capitalize early and get that early first period goal. We saw how good they were last game, getting out to a 4-0 lead in the first period. If they can start running up the score, this could be a really good night in Buffalo. So once again, Buffalo on the power play here, get an offensive zone face-off draw. I think that's Alex Tuck, or it might be Peyton Krebs. No, it's Tuck. Tuck taking the offensive zone face-off draw, and he is going to, the Boston player gets waved out. And now, once again, it is Hunznadinov now against Tuck in the offensive zone for the Buffalo Sabres, starting a power play, and the Boston Bruins do wind up winning the draw. Boston's going to be able to fight for it. They're going to get it, and they try to clear it. Can't. Now they do. Buffalo's got it back in their own zone as they try and regroup after Boston cleared it. Buffalo drops back, nice pass there, gets it to Dahlin, who drops it back, and now here comes in the offensive zone. Tuck's got it along the boards, passes it back to Dahlin, gets it to his other partner over there, back to Tuck, and he's going to try and go through a couple of Bruins players. Can't. Dahlin's got it back, point shots, and I think that was stopped on Ostlund. Nice try from the Buffalo Sabres. Nice puck movement, but once again, Swayman is there. Swayman's been one of the difference makers in this series. I know it didn't look like that much in Game 4, but you take out Game 4, Swayman's been brilliant for Boston. There's no series, in my opinion, in this. This isn't a series, in my opinion, without Jeremy Swayman in net for Boston. So, once again, good shot from Ostlund. Offense zone face-off draw. Tuck loses it. McAvoy gets it around the net, gets it to Lindholm, and Lindholm's going to clear the puck down the ice. Solid kill there for Boston. There's still a minute 20 left on the power play. Buffalo behind their own net. Captain Rasmus Dahlin trying to set something up. Skates it out of his own zone, and now he is going to drop it back. And that's a misplay. Ostlund was not ready for it, and he's going to have to loop back around the defensive zone. Ostlund trying to get something going, speeding through the Boston Bruin blue line, and he's going to get there. Pass, and it's just missed. Interception. Nice try from Tuck. He was able to get a loose puck in front, but it was stopped by Jeremy Swayman. Boston sends it back down the ice with 40 seconds left in the Buffalo power play and 16:30 left in the first period. Thompson's gone in the offensive zone. Passes it across. Thompson's in front, and they can't get it. Rebound. Scores. Dahlin. Solid start from the Sabres. Power play goal from Rasmus Dahlin. A beauty of a shot. Great stuff from Buffalo. They capitalized on the earlier power play, and early on, Buffalo is rocking. It is 1-0 Sabres. What a start for Buffalo. Great puck movement. Try to get to Thompson. It took a weird bounce. Here, they're just going to show you the replay here. So Dahlin got to Thompson. Thompson entered the offensive zone, passed it across, tried to get back to Thompson, and it just went right to Dahlin. What a start for the Buffalo Sabres. That went right to Dahlin. Swayman was way out of his net. No chance. And the offensive defenseman is able to put the Buffalo Sabres up 1-0 in the earlier portion of the first period on the power play. Great start for the Buffalo Sabres, who now have possession in their own zone. A hit by one of the Boston players is able to get possession back for Boston as it goes back into the Boston zone. Zadorov is going to stop for a second as we do have a stoppage in play here. I wonder if this is another penalty. Hold on a minute here, guys. It might have been an offside or it might have been another penalty. I don't know exactly. Just give me a second here while we figure this out. But once again, there's a stoppage in play with 16:12 left in the first and a 1-0 Buffalo Sabres lead. So let us change this right here. Give me a second here, guys, and let's see right here. 1-0 Buffalo. Great stuff and great start from the Buffalo Sabres. Let's see. Kozak's knocked out of the face-off draw, so I think that's Zucker out there against Zacha, and he's going to win the draw. Power gets it in the neutral zone, and Buffalo is going to chip it into the Boston end. Nice stop there from Boston. They're going to get around the boards and try and break something out, and they might have something here. That's Snezhnadinov passes it down. Lyon's got it, loops it back around the boards to one of his Sabres players, and the Sabres are going to cross-beat it across. Power passes it across. Nice stop. I think that's Malenstein who has it right now. Tries to get back to Power. He does. Shoots, and that went off the back of the net. Power and Zacha fighting for it. Peake's got it. He gets it to Zadorov, and Zadorov is going to pass it back out to Pastrnak. Pastrnak gets it to Snezhnadinov, making some moves. Nice plays from Marie Snezhnadinov. Gets it to the point, and shoots. Stopped, and that one goes around the net. Here comes, I think that's Kostelic trying to keep it in, and he does for a second, but goes off of Pasternak's gloves and back out of the zone. Boston is trying to regroup as they are making a line change, or actually there's a stoppage in play here. Boston is going to get a stoppage here. Game 4, once again, they're just showing some of the stuff that happened late in the third period in Game 4. Once again, that was a very interesting game from Buffalo. Once again, it's just a stoppage in place. You're not missing anything. Just on some of the highlights from that last game between Boston and Buffalo was a lot of rough stuff. Once again, these two teams do not like each other. Buffalo wins the draw. They get into the Boston zone. Swayman stops it around. Aspiro, nice stop. Gets it across to Middlestat. Middlestat crosses it. Nice job. McAvoy gains the offensive line and sends it down. And it looks like that might have taken a deflection when out of play. 15:02 left, and we're going to get another stoppage in the first period. Shots are currently 4-1 for the Buffalo Sabres. So very interesting to note there. Once again, I do appreciate you guys all for tuning in. If you haven't already, subscribe, like, leave a comment, leave a chat down below. Tell all your friends the best hockey content on YouTube is right here at the End to End Hockey channel. Apparently, Zach Benson is the youngest Sabre to record a playoff goal since 2010. So love to see that from Benson. I expect him to be a factor if the Sabres do end up winning and advancing to round one in round two against whether that's Montreal or Tampa. Buffalo wins the draw, but Boston gets in their defensive zone. McAvoy passes it. Nice play from a Buffalo stick to get it away, but now Boston does get it. I think that's Minton across to Middlestat, and he just overskates the puck. Buffalo's going to be able to recover possession in the defensive zone. Samuelson fighting against Minton, and Samuelson is able to get it. Passes it around the other side, and Buffalo is not able to keep it. Geeky Scott tried to get to Minton. He just found the shot. Now it's Lindholm back around to Geeky. Geeky shoots, and I think that took a deflection. Lindholm's got it again on the far side. Shoots, stopped by Lyon, goes around the net, and Boston keeps it in. Trying to keep it in right now, and Lindholm does. Passes it back to Middlestat. Middlestat in the offensive zone for Boston is going to keep it in for a second. Lindholm, once again, gets it deep to Minton. Minton below the goal line. Tries to get in front to Middlestat, but Dahlin intercepts it. Buffalo's got it along the blue wall. They can't get it out of their own zone right now. Minton's going to keep it in for Isamont. Isamont is going to lose possession, and Buffalo is going to regain possession and try and send something in. Turnover, Boston, and they just can't keep it. But now they get back again. Boston hounding the puck. Buffalo cannot get out of the zone. Now they do. Buffalo flips it back into the Boston zone, and Swayman's going to play it to Peak. Peak gets it into the neutral zone, and now here comes Boston. Trying to get across, and they can't. Buffalo's going to regain possession as Stanley's got it along the walls, and he just chips out of the defensive zone for Buffalo. Boston gets it back, trying to re-enter the zone. They do. Isamont shoots, and that's going to go wide. Buffalo trying to get something going. Pasternak, or actually that was Elias Lindholm, and he loses possession. Stanley's got it again, tries to see it along the boards, and there might be a penalty here, or there's a stoppage for sure. Not sure what this is for. Once again, they're just showing you the Rasmus Dahlin goal again, and we are going to a commercial break. So you're not missing anything. 1-0 Buffalo in this first period. And once again, Tampa, Dallas, and Minnesota have not yet started. So you're not missing anything in that game. And once again, you're not missing anything in this game. So I'll let you guys thoughts on the games that happened earlier this week. Over the past couple of days. Like, looking back to Sunday, are you surprised that the Avalanche were able to sweep the Los Angeles Kings? I thought for sure the Kings would get at least one, maybe two wins for Anze Kopitar in his final season, in his final postseason. But at the last, they were just not able to, and the Avalanche swept them. I had Avs in 6. It was Avs in a sweep. So that series is done. I was right on the team, wrong on the games. I was surprised the Kings weren't able to at least get one win. On top of that, when you look at some of the other ones that happened on Sunday, like we said, Buffalo beat Boston. Now Boston on the brink of elimination. Montreal, Tampa, that was another interesting game that happened over on Sunday. Tampa scoring 3 unanswered goals, one late in the second, too early in the third to come back and beat Montreal 3-2. Like, that was an entertaining game. That entire series has been fantastic. So I can't wait to see who moves on. I picked Tampa. I'm hoping Montreal, so it'll be interesting to see who ends up winning that series. Once again, back over on Sunday, we saw Anaheim beat Edmonton 4-3 in overtime with a very close call along the goal line. I personally thought it was a goal. I think a lot of people are agreeing that it is a goal. It was over the line. I think a lot of people are just very confused as to how it was called a goal on the ice in overtime for the Ducks' overtime winner when no referee was behind it. It had really any sort of vantage point on it. So I think that's what a lot of people are complaining about, but I think they got the call right in the end, and the Ducks were able to win. And then, like we said yesterday, Utah loses in overtime to Vegas 5-4, and was now a 2-2 series. And Pittsburgh stays alive with their 3-2 victory over Philadelphia. So once again, the Buffalo Sabres are about 56 minutes away from winding up advancing to the second round for the first time in almost 20 years. So very interesting note there. We're just getting back underway here. Boston is actually earned a power play here. So that's what the stoppage was. Buffalo to the box. Boston's going to try to answer with their own power play here. McAvoy, Geeky, Zacha, Pastrnak, and Elias Lindholm on the ice. Pastrnak has it. Space! Shoots! Stopped by Lyon. And Lyon is able to get it to one of his defenders who gets out of the zone. Nice play there from Lyon. McLeod's trying to chase some of the Boston players as Boston loops back around to the defensive zone. And here it comes in the offensive zone. Boston's got it. Passes it back to McAvoy. McAvoy tried to pass it to one of his players. Could not. Buffalo has it with space, time, and they just send it down the ice. Smart move there from the Buffalo Sabres. Boston's now going to get it back again. McAvoy trying to make something happen, passes it back to his own blue line as Boston tries to make some things happen. Zacha following along with, I think that was Geeky, gets it back to the point. Pastrnak is going to get the puck, but he has no time to shoot. He's hit off the puck, and Buffalo gets it and clears it. What a play from this Buffalo PK with 1:08 left on the power play for Boston. Here comes McAvoy again, loops it back around for, I think that's Elias Lindholm, gets it to Zacha. Zacha is going to get it to McAvoy. Once again, another nice stick from Buffalo, trying to fight for it in the boards, and the puck is kept in by Boston. McAvoy tries to get to Pastrnak. He does, pass across, and it's shot wide. Nice try there from Boston. Once again, it's a Boston power play for 44 seconds. There's a board battle. Power's going to get there, and he's going to get it to one of the forwards on the power play who clears the zone. Changes for both sides as Boston's going to regroup. Swayman has it behind his own net, and he gets it across to Hampus Lindholm. Hampus Lindholm, the second unit's coming out. Middlestad, Lindholm, Steves, Minton. Once again, that unit's coming out. Hunzanadinov gets it back to the point till Hampus Lindholm. Lindholm across and shoots. Stopped by Lyon, goes behind the net. And here's Hunzanadinov again trying to find some sort of a passing lane. He does. He gets it to the point. Hampus Lindholm. Lindholm crosses it, shoots, and I think that took a deflection. It was blocked, but Lindholm keeps the zone. Lindholm to Middlestad. Middlestad crosses it, and that's just a miss by Hunzanadinov. Penalty is over. Still strength shot. It goes wide. I think it hit the crossbar. Boston loses possession. Buffalo gets it, and they can't get it out of the zone right now. Now they do. Nice play from Osland, and one of the Sabres defenders, that's Timmins, is going to be able to bring in the offensive zone. Timmins drops it back for Thompson. He's got a little bit of space, shoots, and they think that was blocked in front. Byram shot. Stopped. Buffalo keeps possession. Here's Krebs along the boards, trying to keep it in the zone, and they can't. Doan trying to keep it in the zone, and they do. And Doan is going to send it around the boards. One of the Boston players are there. So is Dahlin. Dahlin keeps the line for now. Thompson gets it across. Here's the shot. Stopped. Nice stop by Swayman. Corrali gets it back to the point. And Buffalo's going to be able to regain possession in the neutral zone. Buffalo getting back into their own zone. And here comes Buffalo. Once again, Doan enters the offensive zone. Shots. It went off of a Bruins stick. Goes behind the net. Boston's able to recover. So now Boston trying to get out of their own zone. And they are able to, for at least a little bit, Zadorov to peak, trying to get something going, and he gets to Zadorov once again in their own zone right now with 9:50 left in the first period. And Zadorov's just going to wait and try and get something started here. Once again, in his own zone right beside Swayman. Now Zadorov starts to skate it up, and he's just going to skate to red line and dump it in. Lyon tags it up for the Buffalo Sabres and gets it on the boards. Another board battle here, and Buffalo's able to get back into their own zone so they can recover possession. Stanley's got it. He's got it to the blue line for the Buffalo Sabres, and they enter the offensive zone. Quinn tries to get back, and he can't. Boston's got the puck now again. Hunzanadinov trying to create some space, enters the offensive zone. Hunzanadinov passes it across. There's no one there, and the Buffalo Sabres are able to get it. Pass, nice play, and here comes, I think that's Power, below the goal line. Gets it to McLeod, can't. Boston sticks there, and now Zucker. Zucker trying to get something with a Spiro draped all over him. Passes it across, and Boston's able to get there and clear the zone. And Buffalo's going to be able to lose possession in the offensive zone. And Zacha, nice try to pass it to Zacha, but there's a Buffalo skater in the way. Now Hampus Lindholm gets it into the offensive zone. Passes it to Zacha. Middlestad, he gets around a couple of Buffalo Sabres players. Gets it, and there's another board battle here. Byram's got it, and the Buffalo Sabres are able to get possession, get in the offensive zone. Here comes Buffalo. Byram, I think, nice play, but he can't get around one of the Boston players. That was Hampus Lindholm. Boston does have it in the defensive zone, and oh no, Osland's going to the bench. He must have had taken a shot or something. Osland's hobbling to the bench, and Boston's going to be able to get the puck back in their own zone. and Yokiharu turns it over. Buffalo trying to get something. One of the Boston players was holding Buffalo player. No call on the play, though, by the looks of things. Buffalo does keep it in the offensive zone along the boards, but Boston does get Zadorov to Hunzinadinov, who's going to get back into the Buffalo zone, trying to pass it, or that was Minton, sorry, not Hunzinadinov, but Buffalo regains possession. Dahlin loses the puck, turns it over, and oh, what a hit! I think that was Tanner Jeannot on Rasmus Dahlin. Kozak's got it in his own zone, tries to pass it along the boards, and is not able to. Zadorov is going to take possession in the neutral zone. Nice play from Boston. Corrali gets it deep into the Buffalo zone. 7.5 left in the first period. 1-0 Buffalo. Boston is not able to keep the line, so they just send it back down into the Buffalo zone and chase after it. Dahlin takes another hit, but makes a nice play to get out of the defensive zone. And now here comes Alex Tuch. Tuch trying to, and he does wind up backhanding it. And now it's around to Boston's other player. Here they're coming, and Boston sends in the zone. Kostelic chasing after it. He's hit to the wall by Stanley, and Stanley and Kostelic going after it. So is Corrali. So is Timmins. And here's Steves to the point, shoots, and that was chipped just wide by one of the Boston players. Tuck's got it. Nice play across in the neutral zone, entering the offensive zone. Buffalo tries to get across the Krebs, and he just can't reach it. Nice play from, I think that was Kostelic. And now Boston's got it to Corrali. Corrali chips it in, and Steves goes after it against Byram. Steves is going to lose it. Isamont trying to fight for it, and he is able to for a second, and he just puts it off the Lions' pads. He was below the goal line, though. Buffalo fighting for it again. McLeod gets it to Stanley. Stanley is able to pass it to one of the forwards, and Buffalo does get out of their own zone. Here comes McLeod. Sends it down. Swimming behind his net to play, gets it to Pasternak, who is hit on the puck, but he is going to be able to keep it and pass it to one of his Boston players. Hampus Lindholm's got it now, tipped into the offensive zone by Boston. Buffalo is able to get it. Here comes Zucker. It's 1-on-4, so he just dumps it down, and once again, the Buffalo Sabres will chase. They do keep it. Krebs has it at the blue line, tries to get it deep, and he is able to. Doan's got it, fighting for it against Zadorov. Zaka is going to try and fight for it. Board battle here, and Zadorov does win it. Gets it to Andrew Peak. Peak backhands it into the neutral zone. It goes into the Buffalo zone. Buffalo and Boston fighting for it. Hunzinadinov against Samuelson. Doan's got it, and he's going to loft one up. Nice try to get it to Krebs, and icing is waved off. Nice play from Krebs, but he's not able to get any sort of shot on goal. And they're muscled off the puck, and Boston is able to get there. Here is Geeky. Geeky is going to wind up going through a whole bunch of Buffalo players. Geeky in. Geeky is going to loop it around to Middlestat. Middlestat across. Geeky can't find the loose puck. And now here comes Buffalo. The Sabres are coming up. It's Bowen Byram 1-on-4. Byram, nice play around. He gets some reinforcements. That's Malenstein who dumps it down, and he's going to be able to get it back around the net. Malenstein looking for some sort of a passing lane. Nice play. Here's Beck Malenstein with 4 minutes left in the first period. Here it comes. Back to the point. Byram shoots. I think that was blocked in front by one of the Sabres players. And Boston is able to get there. Buffalo is able to recover in the neutral zone, get back in their own zone, trying to set something up. They dump it back into the Boston zone. Malenstein chases after it. Boston is able to get it, and they now have maybe a little bit of a break here. Corrali dumps it down. Nice play, and Boston is still fighting for it in the offensive zone. Kostelic trying to get it around a couple of Buffalo players. We've not had a whistle in quite some time. Boston's got Hampus Lindholm shoots. Stopped. It was blocked. Here come the Buffalo Sabres still trying. Shoots. Boston. Kostelic in front. Shoots. Oh, what a stop from Alex Lyon. A couple of players are tied up behind the line. Jeannot gets it to the point. Trying to get it. Shoots. And that is, I think, stopped, or it went above the goal, or went above the boards. Either way, or actually, there might be a penalty here on Stanley. Stanley is barking at the refs. It might have been for one of the plays that was happening beforehand. Let's see. Once again, Ostlund. Oh, he got his leg trapped under one of the Boston players. Oh, that doesn't look good. Oh, no. Ostlund had a really great Game 3. That was pretty good in Game 4. You'd never hope that's good. Once again, they're just showing some of the replays. There's your no shot that was stopped by Alex Lyon. and we go to a commercial break. So you're not missing anything. We have, I think, just under 5 minutes to go in the first period, and then we will go to intermission. And once we go to intermission, we'll check in on how the Minnesota Wild Dallas Stars game's going, because that one should be starting in the very near future. In fact, just let me change this over here, guys, to the first period. Just hold on a second here. Yep, that's there. Okay, hold on. Let me see here. Yeah, that's that. Okay, so let's change this from starting time to hold on a minute here, guys. The first period is that game is about to get underway. So that should be good. And we should put that over here, and I think that's good. That looks good here. So here we go. It is now going to be about the first period between Dallas and Minnesota. Just need to change that. That should be getting underway in the very near future. Once again, you are not missing anything. We are on commercial break right now, and the Buffalo Sabres are up on the Boston Bruins 1-0, thanks to a power play goal about 3 minutes in from Rasmus Dahlin. Once again, the captain trying to get his Sabres to their first second-round postseason appearance in just under 20 years. So once again, I appreciate all of you guys for tuning in. If you're still in the chat, leave a like, leave a comment, leave a chat. Tell all your friends best audio content on YouTube is right here at the End to End Hockey channel, and I appreciate all of you guys for tuning in. 90% of you guys who view my channel are not subscribed yet. It's free to do so, and it definitely helps with the channel. So if you can, I really do appreciate it. Once again, they're just looking at the Buffalo Stadium right now. There's 3:59 left in the first period. And there is the 3:59 left in the first period, and it is 1-0 Buffalo. They just showed a stat that the Boston Bruins. This is surprising if that is the correct stat. That the Boston Bruins are 0-26 in series where they're trailing 1-3. That's surprising. Once again, Boston offenses will face-off draw here against the Buffalo Sabres, and they lose it. Byram's got behind his own net, trying to set something up. Shots are now 6-5 for Boston, but they do trail 1-0. Here comes Buffalo. Powers got it into the offensive zone, and I think that might be an icing call. So Buffalo is going to get another face-off draw against Boston. So stoppage in play with 3:48 left now in the first period between the Buffalo Sabres and the Boston Bruins. So very interesting to note there. Once again, Hampus Lindholm. They're just showing some of the players that are on the ice right now. Nadinov for the Boston Bruins. I think he's taking this draw here. Or no, actually, I think it's Milstead taking the draw. Milstead out there in the face-off draw, or Zacha actually, and Zacha loses it. And now Powers got it, and he's going to nice cross-ice feed. Once again to the neutral zone, Quinn stops it up. Here comes Quinn. I think that was a drop pass from Zucker, trying to get it back to McLeod. Can't, and the puck is along the boards. Nadinov can't get it, but one of the Bruins defenders do. And Boston has it in the neutral zone. Pastrnak gets into the offensive zone, tries a pass, shoots, and that's going to go wide. Nadinov gets it back to the point. Lindholm across to Zacha, but a nice stick from Power to knock it away from Zacha. Byram's now got it tipped out of the zone, and this might be a little bit of a break here for Buffalo, but they're going to go off on a change anyways. Puck goes on to Swayman, and he's going to pass it back to Zadorov as both teams make changes, and there's just over 3 minutes left in the first period. Boston trying to set up something, and they do. Nice pass over here to, I think that's Steves. Steves gets it back, or that was actually Peak. Tried to get back to Steves, could not. And Buffalo fighting along the boards just to the left of Alex Lyon. Pass in front, and nice play from one of the Buffalo Sabres players. And now it's a 2-on-2 down the other way. Here's Josh Doan, dumps it in, trying to go after it. And they aren't able to get there. Isamont gets it out of the zone, and Buffalo is going to regroup. Buffalo gets into the offensive zone. I think that was Benson. Back in front, can't get anywhere. And Boston, that puck gets deflected up. It's still in the Boston zone, and Boston trying to fight for it, can't. Doan gets it, Benson, and Benson loses possession of the puck to Boston in the defensive zone. Boston's got it. They dump it in. Samuelson with an intercept, trying to get some sort of shot, shooting that he can't. Another nice shot, stopped by Swayman. He's going to cover up with 2 minutes left in the first period. So very interesting note there. Once again, I do appreciate all of you guys for tuning into this game, potentially elimination game here from the Boston Bruins and the Buffalo Sabres. There's 2:09 left in the first period, and we'll go to another commercial break. I'm guessing because of the long because of the long period without a whistle, they're just going to go to a commercial break here with 2 minutes left after a commercial break just a couple minutes ago. So once again, you're not missing anything. That Dallas-Minnesota game should be getting underway in the very near future. So that's going to be very interesting. Once again, Very interesting game so far. Buffalo started out really good. Boston's been applying some pressure. Boston's definitely had a lot of really good chances in this first period, but Leon, he's been good. And the Buffalo Sabres currently, thanks to that power play goal from Darlene, have the 1-0 lead, which is fantastic. As a Sabres fan, Sabres are my fourth favorite team. I am loving this, and I'm hoping that are able to clinch and get sent to round two tonight. So that would be lovely. And once again, I do appreciate you guys all for tuning in. Once again, not missing anything. Once we hit intermission, we will give you the intermission stats, and then we'll go check out how the Dallas Stars Minnesota Wild game's going. I am really hoping Minnesota wins that game tonight. I picked them in 6 games. There's still a chance that could happen. Minnesota would have to win tonight, but more than just them wind up winning exactly in the same amount of games that I expected them to, I would just love for Minnesota to finally advance past round one. Like they have, I think, with Los Angeles, one of the worst streaks since they've won a playoff series. So I'm just really rooting for Minnesota. They're my Stanley Cup favorites. So I'm just really hoping that Minnesota is able to win tonight. So we'll have to wait and see how that goes. Once again, you're not missing anything. Hold on a minute here, guys. I'm just going to try something here. Just give me a second. I'm just going to try and block out some of the sun. So let's see here if I can do this. Yeah, this seems to work. Okay, I've lost a little bit of the sun. Okay, once again, 2:09 left, first period, 1-0 Buffalo over the Boston Bruins. So once again, they're just showing Oslin now once again hobbling down to the tunnel, so that's not good. Oslin has been phenomenal since entering in Game 3, so if he's out for the game, that's a bad blow for Buffalo. Boston does win the defensive zone faceoff draw, tries to get something going, dumps it in on Lyon. He makes a nice save. And Samuelson, or that might have been Power, takes a big hit in the corner. Boston has the back of the point. Shoots, and that's, I think, stopped. It is. But it's back to the point. Kostelic, or actually, it might have been one of the other Bruins defenders. Tries to get back to the point. They do, but they can't keep the line. They have to try and regroup. They get it back into the Boston zone, into the Buffalo zone. Boston loops it back around. Hunzanadinov fighting for it. Can't get there. Nice hit from Kostelic on Power, but the Buffalo Sabres are able to get possession, and they are able to get it out. Nice play, and Buffalo gets to the red line and clears it back into the Boston zone. Minute and a half left in the first period. Once again, they're just showing some of the games that are going to be on soon. Hampus Lindholm winds up taking the red line, dumps it in on Lyon. And once again, they go aggressive forecheck by Boston. Buffalo cannot get it. Here comes Boston. Hampus Lindholm at the point. Shoots, and that was stopped. And Buffalo can't get it out. Boston's able to keep it, but there's no one there. And now Buffalo clears it out. Smart play there. And Quinn trying to get there. He can't. And now Boston's got it just away from McLeod. Here's Pastrnak. Shoots! And that one took a deflection and stays in the Boston zone. Shoots! And it just goes wide. Stays in the Buffalo zone and just goes wide. Boston sells possession. Pastrnak tries to wrap around Zacha. Can't put it home. Zacha had a nice beat from Pastrnak. He can't put it home. And now, once again, Buffalo trying to get it out of their own zone, but can't. Zadorov at the point. He's going to stop up for a second with one of the Sabres losing a stick. That's Zucker. Zadorov shot. That went over the net. McLeod's got it, and he is going to dump it down. This might be a break here for Buffalo. Zucker now has a new stick. Shoots, and he's going to... he drives into Swayman. I think one of the Boston players shoved Zucker into Swayman, and Swayman went flying. I don't think there's a penalty on the play. Swayman's not going off. So I think that's just going to be a coincidental... thing, and the first period ends. So that's how the first period ends. A little bit of pushing and shoving after that run into Jeremy Swayman. A couple of big saves towards the end of it by Alex Lyon. And the Buffalo Sabres are going to keep a 1-0 lead. Once again, they're just showing it here. Zucker took the puck. And yeah, Peak just pushed him right into Zucker. Peak went flying. And Zucker went right into Swayman, who slid into his own net. Good to see that Swayman is all right there. Nice that he didn't get injured. So good stuff there. Once again, puck stayed out, and Buffalo's going to take a 1-0 lead into intermission. So let me just change that here. Just give me a second here, guys. That should be here, and let's change this to intermission. Okay, so we're now in intermission here in Game 5 between Buffalo and Boston. It was a 1-0 Buffalo lead. So good stuff there. We'll check in on the Dallas-Philadelphia game in just a second. But right now, we will be looking at some of the stats in the first period from the Buffalo Sabres and the Boston Bruins. Just give me a second here, guys. Let me just get this back to charging so it doesn't die on me here. Okay, so that's good. On Tuesday. Okay, so Buffalo, Boston. So once again, the shots currently are 9-5 for the Boston Bruins after the first period. The Sabres, however, duly 1-0. It was a power play goal from Rasmus Dahlin. The assists go to Jason Zucker and Tage Thompson. So really good stuff there from Buffalo. Face-off percentage is way in Buffalo's favor. They've won 9 of 14 face-offs for a total of 64.3%. So they have been a lot better in the face-off percentage than the Boston Bruins have. Boston is 0 for 1 on the power play. Buffalo is 1 for 1 on the power play. So Buffalo capitalized on their opportunity. Boston did not. When it comes to some other stats, hits 15-12 in favor of the Buffalo Sabres. Blocked shots 11-3 in favor of the Buffalo Sabres. A lot of blocked shots. Giveaways 7-4 in favor of the Boston Bruins, and takeaways 2-0 in favor of the Boston Bruins. So those are all stats as the Buffalo Sabres enter intermission with a 1-0 lead over the Boston Bruins. So really good stuff there from Buffalo. Once again, you're not missing anything. It is in intermission right now, and I am just going to really quickly see how the Dallas-Minnesota game's faring, as that game should have started by now. So let's see. And Minnesota just scored. Yes! Yes, the Wild just scored. Zuccarello's back. Oh, he's been missing forever. Oh, that's fantastic. I want to see this. Zuccarello's just made it 1-0. Kaprizov's shot stopped. He got it back across. Oh, there was nothing but net. Oh, it actually was put in his own net by Tyler Myers. Really good stuff there from Minnesota. That's the start you're looking for if you're Minnesota. I'm loving Minnesota. I hope they wind up advancing to round 2. Great stuff from Kaprizov. And Minnesota now has a 1-0 lead. They're only 4 minutes into the first period over there. So we'll stay here for a couple minutes as once again it's intermission, so you're not missing anything in the Buffalo-Boston game, and you'll be in intermission for about the next 15-ish minutes. So once again, if you want to, you guys can go grab your snacks and tune in about 15 minutes as we should be able to start that game, or you can just stay here as we will look and see how this Minnesota-Dallas game goes right now. Boldy's got it to Faber, and he's going to lose the puck. Minnesota's got just outside their own blue line. So very interesting to note there. Minnesota now gets it. Hughes, nice play to Boldy. Once again, this series has been fantastic, which is why I'm streaming Game 6 on Thursday. I just gotta stream one game of this series. Like, this series has been fantastic. Dallas has it, trying to get in front, and the loose puck is going to be taken by Minnesota in the defensive zone, and Tarasenko is going to dump and chase. Once again, Andre behind his own net is going to get it around. Dallas misplays it. And here comes Minnesota. They are able to get back into the offensive zone. Minnesota's record in the regular season and postseason this year is 34-6-6 when scoring first. So they've had a really good track record when scoring first here in these playoffs and in the regular season. So once again, I don't know why a whole bunch of people have slept on Minnesota. I know Dallas is a good team, and I could still see them winning this series. But I don't know why a lot more people picked Minnesota. And I do think whoever wins this series wins over Colorado. Just, once again, President's Trophy cares and things like that. They didn't look as dominant as I would have liked them to be against Los Angeles. And I don't know if that big break for them until Game 1 of round 2 is going to either help that team or hurt them. Like, we've seen a couple of teams in the past where they've had a really long layoff just be very, very rusty when they get back to round 2, and it takes them a couple of games, and by that time, they're already eliminated. So, once again, I do think whoever wins this series, whether it's Minnesota or Dallas, will wind up going to the conference final, and just really hoping it's Minnesota. Once again, the Wild do have a 1-0 lead here. Kaprizov has it. Kaprizov had the pass to Matt Zuccarello, who put the puck in the net. First game for Matt Zuccarello in quite some time, so love to see that. This is a huge Game 5 here between the Wild and the Stars. And remember, if you guys don't know already, I will be streaming Game 6 on Thursday. That will be my next live stream. I don't know what time it is. They haven't announced the time yet for Game 6. My guess is they'll announce the time right after we see if Anaheim sends it. If Anaheim winds up winning the series and there's no game on Thursday, or if Edmonton winds up sending it back to Anaheim for Game 6. So I guess we'll know the time probably later tonight. So once again, whatever time frame it winds up being, Minnesota, Dallas on Thursday, I will be streaming. So I hope you guys tune in for that. Once again, shots are currently 4-1 for the Wild. Dallas has in the offensive zone, though. Shot Harley goes wide. and Minnesota gets it back, tries to clear across the boards, can't. Harley keeps it in. Harley back around to back. Back is intercepted by Minnesota, and Faber is going to, whoa, nice moves from Faber. He's going to be able to get into the neutral zone and dump it into the offensive zone. So once again, you're not missing anything in the Sabres Bruins game. It's an intermission, and actually, now that they are up, I should be changing that. So just give me a second here, guys, as that should be 1-0 Minnesota. So that's fantastic. Okay, once again, Minnesota, Dallas. Dallas has in their own zone. Minnesota's got it. Marcus Foligno, once again, trying to get into the neutral zone. He can. You're not missing anything. Once again, Buffalo Boston is in intermission right now. Dallas has it. Duchesne looking for some sort of passing lane. Can't. Minnesota intercepts it. And Minnesota is going to get it out of the defensive zone. Dallas gets it back. Robertson has it. Some space. Shoots. It was blocked by one of the Wild players. And now Minnesota is going to try to get it on the board. If they can't, Dallas keeps the zone. And now it goes out of the zone. Heiskanen being chased by, I think that's Eriksson Ek for the puck. And Heiskanen is able to win it. Just for a second, those Minnesota intercepts in the neutral zone. And they're trying to find some sort of a lane going the other way. And Dallas now intercepts it. Robertson across, gets it in, shoots by Johnston, can't get there. And now Eriksson Ek. Once again, a board battle to the left of Jesper Wallstedt. Once again, both sides fighting really well. Randon is able to come away with the puck, gets it back to the point, and that's going to be blocked. Minnesota is going to get it out. Nice play there from the Wild. Dallas gets it into the neutral zone, and they dump it down the ice. And Minnesota is going to be able to reset. Hughes has it below the goal line, gets it up. Nice play. Nice try to feed Tarasenko, but went off a Dallas stick. And now Dallas has it in the offensive zone. Yet Wallstedt plays it around, and it's intercepted by one of the Dallas players. Here to the right of Wallstedt, he's funneling the puck. Harley's got it, and he tries to feed it in front. Can't. Minnesota is able to get there, but I think there was actually a penalty. A slashing call might be being called here on one of the players. I think it's on a Wild player. Hold on a minute here, guys. And it looks like it is going to be a 2-minute minor for slashing on Bobby Brink. So the Stars are going to be going to the power play, being outshot 4-0 right now by the Minnesota Wild. Once again, the opening goal was from Mats Zuccarello, assisted by Kirill Kaprizov. So very interesting to note there. Once again, you're not missing anything in the Boston-Buffalo game. That game is in intermission. It is currently 1-0 Buffalo, and Minnesota-Dallas just went to commercial break. So you're not missing anything. I do appreciate you guys all for tuning in. Once again, if you haven't already, subscribe, leave a chat, leave a comment, leave a like, tell all your friends. Best hockey content on YouTube is right here at the End to End Hockey channel. And on top of that, I'll let you guys' opinion down in the chats, and I'd love to see you guys subscribe. It's free to do so. 90% of you guys who view my videos are not subscribed. So if you want daily hockey content, including a couple of play-by-play live streams, I just suggest you tune in. I just suggest you subscribe. It really helps the channel. We're trying to hit 750 subscribers in the next couple of weeks. So once again, I do appreciate you guys all for tuning in. I should have a couple of videos coming out after this game that I was trying to post before. A trade rumor video. We've got a game recap video for the games that happened yesterday, and a fan reaction for some of the games that happened yesterday. I should be able to get that posted just shortly after the stream ends. I will also have a highlight of the stream, so I hope you guys tune into those ones. And then on top of that, tomorrow we will have our updated power rankings. Potentially could have a couple more teams be eliminated by then. So once again, we will be having our updated power rankings tomorrow. And once again, we'll have another game recap and fan reaction for the games that happened today. So tune in for those ones. Once again, our next live stream will be on Thursday, Game 6 between Dallas and Minnesota, which will be a very interesting series. I personally do think that that's going to be a potential option here for Minnesota to clinch if they are able to hold on and win tonight, which will be fantastic for the Minnesota Wild. Once again, I think because of how well that series has gone, I've got to stream at least one of those games. Once again, don't know the time yet because they haven't announced it. I'm expecting them to announce that game time start for the Stars Wild series right after the Ducks Oilers game finishes, because the only other game that's currently scheduled would have been Game 6 between the Ducks and the Oilers. So either the Oilers win, they send it to 6, and then the Ducks and Oilers will also play on Thursday, or the Ducks send the Oilers home tonight, and there will be no extra games on Thursday. So it'll be very interesting to note there. But once again, Dallas does have offensive zone pressure, having a power play right now. Johnston the power play wizard. Back to Duchesne, back to Johnston at the point, across to Heiskanen. Heiskanen, who's had a power play goal in the last game. Back to Robertson. Robertson to Duchesne. That power play is lethal. Got weapons. Robertson to Heiskanen. Back to Robertson. Robertson to Heiskanen. Now pass in front, blocked by one of the Wild, but the Stars do keep it. Robertson's got it to the point. Heiskanen, Duchesne, looking for some sort of passing lane. Gets to Robertson. The Heiskanen shoots, and they score. Miro Heiskanen has tied the game up for the Dallas Stars on the power play. Second consecutive power play goal. Second goal in as many games on the power play for Miro Heiskanen. It's really good stuff there. And just 9 minutes in the Minnesota Wild, the lead has evaporated. It is now a 1-1 game. So let's change that up here. Just give me a second here, guys. Hold on. And this is going to go 2-1 as Dallas is bumping. Once again, this is going to be a very interesting game. And I think this is a very likely chance that whoever wins this game has a chance to potentially end it in game 6. But I'm thinking this is going to be a series that goes 7. So I don't know exactly what's going to happen there. I think game 7 would be on Saturday, if I'm correct. So once again, I'm not exactly 100% sure, but I think game 7 would be on Saturday. So we'll have to wait and see on that. Might be one of the game 7s we stream. Once again, I'm not going to guarantee we stream any and all of game 7s just because, once again, I don't know exactly how many game 7s there'll be. Plus, on top of that, on Sunday, I have church and I do a couple of errands, so I don't know exactly when I'd be getting home. So once again, I do hope to do at least a couple of live streams for Game 7s on the weekend, but I can't make any promises. But we should be able to get at least a couple done on Saturday. So once again, my current live schedule for the rest of the week is Thursday. We will have Dallas, Minnesota, whenever game time that is. Friday, we will have either Utah, Vegas, or Tampa, Montreal. It will depend on how those two series go tomorrow for game 5, but we will be either streaming Vegas, Utah, or Tampa, Montreal on Friday. Either series will be very, very fantastic in Utah and in Montreal. So it'll be very interesting to note there. Once again, those two could be the only two games on. Those two could be the only two games on Friday, depending on if Buffalo wins or if Boston wins tonight. So it will be interesting. Once again, just double checking here. I think it's still in commercial break. Let's see here. Yeah, they're just finishing up intermission here between Buffalo and Boston. So once again, you're not missing anything. We're still in intermission. So just waiting here for the start of the second period. So actually, we're getting very close, so I might as well change that. Let's see here. Hold on a minute here, guys. And that is, let's see. Okay, that's going to the second period. Let's see here. Okay, second period. Let's just adjust this here. That should be good. Yeah, okay. 1-0 Buffalo over Boston as they're just about to start the second period. Once again, they're just showing some of the highlights from Dallas, Minnesota. So you're not missing anything. Hold on a minute here, guys. I just have to get this. I am still feeling a tiny bit under the weather, so I do apologize. Once again, I do appreciate you guys all for tuning in. I thank you. Once again, second period is just upcoming. So this will be the last commercial break between Buffalo and Boston before we head to the second period. So I do hope you guys all tune in for the second period. That should be starting about 2 minutes-ish here. So once again, you're not missing anything. Once again, it'll be very interesting to see if Buffalo's able to hold on and win. I hope they are. I really, really do. I would love to see Buffalo in the second round. I think Buffalo has a good chance to go to Cup final. Like, they have to play Tampa and Montreal, which are both very, very good teams. So if they're able to squeak by them, they got Carolina, who can't win in the conference final to save their life. So once again, I think there's a good chance Buffalo, if they are able to hold on and win this series, if they are able to sneak by one of Tampa or Montreal, and then once again beat a team who can't win the Eastern Conference Final, I think there's a chance Buffalo could wind up making it to the Stanley Cup Final this year. I did predict them in my first playoff first playoff predictions to wind up making it to the Cup Final. So once again, my prediction of Buffalo-Minnesota Cup Final is still in play for now. We'll still see how everything plays out after round 1. But I do think Buffalo has a good chance to wind up doing some damage here, not just making it past round 1, but potentially making it into round 2 or potentially round 3, maybe even the Cup Final. So once again, you're not missing anything. It's still a commercial break, so we should be getting back to game action in the very near future. Once again, love to hear your thoughts on all the playoff stuff that's happened so far this year down in the comments, down in the chat. Love to hear your thoughts. Once again, if you're just tuning in, it is 1-0 Buffalo. First period goal on the power play from Rasmus Dahlin has given Buffalo the 1-0 lead. That is the only scoring so far. The other games that are playing today, Dallas, Minnesota's 1-1. Minnesota opened the scoring thanks to Matt Zuccarello. Then a power play goal from Miro Heiskanen made it a 1-1 game, which is where we stand now. And then at 8 o'clock Mountain Time, we will be having the Oilers take on the Anaheim Ducks. This is going to be a very interesting game back in Edmonton. So the Oilers are back home, but there has been some potential injuries that have been announced, as Dickinson and Connor McDavid are both game time decisions for tonight for the Edmonton Oilers, which is not great news there. And they're changing goalies again, going back to Connor Ingram. So not sure if that's the right move or not, but it's going to be very interesting to see how that game goes later tonight. If the Ducks win, they will remain the only California team in the McDavid era to remain undefeated in playoff series against McDavid and the Oilers. Because remember, the first ever playoff series McDavid played was against the San Jose Sharks, in which they won in round one, and then they've all obviously beat the Kings the last 4 years in round one. But the Ducks beat them in round two in McDavid's first ever postseason appearance, and now they have them on the brink again. McDavid might not even play tonight. So once again, it seems like just for some odd reason, the Oilers just can't do very much against the Anaheim Ducks in the postseason. Like remember, back in 2017, I remember that postseason really, really well. The Oilers had 2-0 lead in that series after winning 2 games in Anaheim, and then they wound up losing 3 straight, one back in Edmonton to send it to 7, and then they lost in Game 7 in Anaheim. So they've actually lost 4 consecutive games in Anaheim dating back to that last playoff series. So don't know what it is, but the Ducks seem to have the Oilers' number in the postseason. I know it's 2 completely different teams, but still, it's very interesting to note there. Once again, you're not missing anything. We're still in a commercial break. So it's been very interesting series so far in playoffs. Like I could still see Utah win in 6 games like I predicted. I could still see Edmonton win potentially, but they are so banged up right now. Like I should have picked Anaheim. I decided to go with Edmonton and have them be on round 2, but I just think I should have gone with Anaheim. Like at the beginning of the season, I thought there were 3 teams this year who, if they made the playoffs, would wind up being eliminated in the first round. That was Florida, that was Edmonton, that was Dallas. And the main reason for that was the Florida Panthers have been to 3 straight Cup finals, the Oilers have been to back-to-back Cup finals, and the Stars have been to 3 straight Western Conference finals. And I just thought that they played other teams, that they would have less juice. And the Panthers, definitely most injury-riddled team in the entire NHL, missed the playoffs. Oilers, they have injuries galore and are on the brink of elimination. Stars have been doing pretty good, even though they are gassed from going to 3 straight Western Conference finals. But we shall see if they wind up doing it. So, very interesting note there. We are just getting underway between Buffalo and Boston. They're just talking to someone in the stands. I think that was Shane Doan, once again in Buffalo, supporting his son Josh, who is currently playing in Buffalo. So love to see that. Once again, I think Shane Doan was actually given permission to seek a potential GM option recently from the Vancouver Canucks. So that will be very interesting. But Buffalo wins the offensive zone faceoff draw, or neutral zone faceoff draw. Dahlin's got it. Nice stretch feed here, trying to get some sort of passing lane. Gets it to Zucker. Zucker shoots. Stopped by Swayman. He covers up. Just 12 seconds into the second period, and some more pushing and shoving between the Sabres and the Bruins. So very interesting to note there. Once again, nice start to this second period here for Buffalo. Shots are currently 9-6 for the Boston Bruins. I think they were 9-5 after the first. So very interesting to note there. Once again, I think that was Shane Doan who they were talking to. I do appreciate you guys all for tuning in and love to hear your guys' thoughts down in the chat and comments below. Buffalo has an offensive zone faceoff draw here. McLeod gets it, and he's tied up on the faceoff, but Buffalo does wind up getting possession, and the Sabres pass them on the boards. Get it to... They can't. And Buffalo is going to be able to clear the zone. Hold on here, guys. Dahlin's got it across, and the other Buffalo Sabre player dumps it in. Boston's able to get possession, chips it back into the neutral zone, and the puck goes out of play. Once again, it looks like it took a deflection, so I don't think that's going to be a penalty. But once again, 35 seconds into the second period, and they're just going to show us here. Hold on. I don't know if that took a deflection or not. It went just over the top into the penalty box. I don't know if that took a deflection or not. It doesn't look like it. Peak is on the bench, so it looks like no call was made. So Boston's going to stay out of the penalty box, which is huge stuff there for the Boston Bruins. Let's see here. Buffalo does have an offensive zone faceoff draw here, and Boston wins it. Boston is able to get back in the defensive zone, tries to loop it around, can't. Buffalo intercepts, try and get back to the point. They don't. Boston intercepts again, and Boston's going to be able to get in the neutral zone. Dumps it into the Buffalo zone, and that one goes out of play again. So I think we should have a neutral zone faceoff draw here between the Sabres and the Bruins, 47 seconds into the second period. Once again, Steve, they're just showing some of the people on the ice right now. Tuck. So very interesting to note there. Let's see. Neutral zone face-off draw, and the Buffalo Sabres win it. Nice win from Tage Thompson. Byram's got now along the boards, passes it across. He does get to Krebs, enters the offensive zone, trying to get to Tuck, and he is able to. Boston trying to knock him off the puck. They do. Zadorov gets it, clears it, and it does go out of the offensive zone for Buffalo. Back to neutral zone. It says Noah Ostlund will not return with a lower body injury. Aw, dang it. That kid was doing amazing. That's not good news there for Buffalo. They do have it in the offensive zone. Thompson gets it across to Krebs, trying to keep it in, and he is able to. Nice play. And now it's Tuck. He's got some space, shoots. It goes wide. Now Byram shoots. It's blocked. Boston's able to get the puck back, and now they're trying to stretch feed it, and Boston enters the offensive zone. It is, I think that's Zacha. Actually, Millsad trying to fight for it along with Geeky. Minton's there, Thompson, Krebs, a whole bunch of players fighting for it along the boards. And Buffalo is able to get a nice flip from Tuck. He gets it to the neutral zone, and Buffalo is able to get back into the Boston end where Boston is going to regroup. Jokiharju tries to get across. Pass was missed to Hampus Lindholm. Benson's got it. Trying to find. Oh, Benson was taken down. Let's see here. Doan is going to try and fight for it. There's no call on the play by the looks of things. Dahlin gets it across to Doan. Doan banks off the wall, but Boston is going to be able to recover and get out of the zone. Buffalo's going to get in the neutral zone and tries to set back in the defensive zone. And trying to get something going here. They are able to dump it in. Nice job with that by Dahlin. And once again, they're fighting for it along the boards. Minton tries to clear it, cannot. And now they do clear it. It goes back into the Buffalo zone. Geeky giving chase to Samuelson. Samuelson leaves it for Doan. Doan tries to get across to Dahlin, and Buffalo does keep possession in the neutral zone, speeding down, and they dump it into the Boston zone. Swayman sticks it away, and Peake gets it up to one of the Boston players, but he loses possession in the offensive zone, and Buffalo gets it, clears it out. Zadorov in the neutral zone. Passes it back to Peake. Peake, nice tip in by Boston, but Buffalo's going to get back in the defensive zone and get it. And here comes Logan Stanley. Big Logan Stanley racing up, gets it into McLeod, who loops it back around for Mallenstein. Mallenstein fighting for it along the boards with two Boston Bruins. And hold on a minute here, guys. Let's just see this here. Just give me a second. And Boston's going to get back into the Buffalo zone, and this is going to be just enough for icing. Offensive zone face-off draw here for Buffalo with 16:40 left in the first period. Once again, just showing some highlights. Let's see here. Just showing some of the some rough stuff that's happened in today's game. Once again, some of the highlights from the Boston Bruins players. Once again, Hampus Lindholm to Zacha, Zadorov. Once again, a lot of the players are playing really well for Boston. They're out shooting the Buffalo Sabres. They just don't have the goal. So once again, I think this is an offensive face-off draw here for Buffalo, and they do wind up winning it. Thompson has it across to the other side. Thompson at the point. He's waiting for some sort of passing. Power shoots. Stopped. And it goes to the corner. Byram playing up a little bit here, trying to keep possession. They do. Thompson now has it. Thompson looking for some sort of passing. He gets to the power. He's got space. Shoots. And it's stopped by Swayman. Nice job covering the pads from Jeremy Swayman to stop the shot from Owen Power. And with 16 minutes left in the second period, it's going to stay 1-0 for the Buffalo Sabres. Once again, Power had all day, all time to shoot, and was just nice, sort of held on to the puck by Swayman. Nicely done. And he's going to earn himself a defensive zone faceoff draw for his Boston Bruins. So really good stuff there. Let's see. Swayman, once again, they're just showing him here. Power, once again, nice shot from Power. Just could not find a way to put it past Swayman. Buffalo is going to win the draw, but then they lose it. And Boston is going to try and clear, but they can't. Buffalo keeps it in. Quinn shoots. Stop. Rebound. Nice pad save from Swayman. Point shot. Stop. Blocked in front by one of the Boston Bruins players. And now Boston does tip into the offensive zone, but Samuelson's able to get there first. Passes it back to one of the other Buffalo Sabres players, and now they have it in the neutral zone. Passes it back to McLeod. Speedy McLeod in the offensive zone. Has a little bit of space. Drops it off. And now they try and bank it off of Swayman, but that doesn't go anywhere. Boston's able to get puck back, and they stretch feed it. Buffalo's going to be able to intercept in the neutral zone, and they dump it back into Boston's zone. 15 and a half to go in the second period. Boston, McAvoy, and a couple of Buffalo Sabres are fighting in the corner for the puck, and they do get to the point. Byram, back across to Doan. Doan holds it along the line, gets to Zucker, and he can't get possession, but the Buffalo Sabres do keep it just for a second, and Boston clears. I think that was a Spiro. And now Buffalo is able to get the puck back, and here's Power racing into the offensive zone, drops it for Benson. Benson shoots, blocked by one of the Boston players. And now trying to keep it in the zone they can. Just for a second, Power has it back at the point. Looking for some space. Passes it across. Doan can't handle it. It goes to the other side, and Boston is able to recover possession. Steves gets it to Lindholm. Lindholm to Isamont. Isamont trying to shoot it. Can't. And the puck goes behind the net. Lion does not know where it is. But Buffalo is able to get possession. Power backhands it back. Gets it back to Power. And Power with a stretch feed, trying to get around. Penalty. Oh, I think that's a tripping penalty. A nice try from, I think that was McLeod. It might be one of the other Sabres players. Hampus Lindholm's going to the box. I think this might be tripping. That was a nice feed, and Buffalo and Boston, Lindholm and one of the other Buffalo players were fighting for it. It was sort of like a partial breakaway for Josh Doan, and that was just a complete trip from Hampus Lindholm. Josh Doan was trying to make some moves around Lindholm. Just could not. And Buffalo's going back to the power play where they're already 1-for-1 tonight. So very interesting to note there. Once again, you're not missing anything. We're just about to get offensive zone face-off draw here for the Buffalo Sabres. Once again, they had 3 shots on that first power play, and they are 1-for-1. So very interesting to note there. Thank you guys all for tuning in. Let your guys' thoughts down in the chat below. Buffalo is going to get the offensive zone face-off draw here, and McLeod is going to be waved out. Yep, and now Zucker taking the offensive zone face-off draw for the Buffalo Sabres. And Zucker is going to lose the draw. Boston gets it to the draw off around the boards, and that puck's going to go out of the zone. Nice play there from the Boston Bruins defense, and Dahlin is in his own zone, trying to reset. Rasmus Dahlin passes it back, nice drop back, gets it to a speeding Ryan McLeod, who's speeding past everyone, gets to Zucker. Zucker back to the point to Dahlin. Dahlin backs it across to Thompson. Thompson, always a shooting threat, gets it back to, keeps it, fakes the pass, and now he does get it back to the point to Dahlin. Dahlin gets it across. Nice play. Gets it to below the goal line. Trying to find someone in front. And Thompson's now got it along the boards. Thompson to the point. Shoots! Dahlin blocked in front. That stung someone. A nice try for the pass. It went off the hurt player. And back to Thompson. Thompson's got it across. Shoots! Tipped in front. And it just goes wide. And Buffalo can't hold the zone. Dahlin's going to have to try and regroup. Dahlin does get it to Tuck, loops it back around, gets it to Zucker. Zucker trying to get it to Thompson, can't. Pass was gone, and now Buffalo is able to get it back in the defensive zone. Once again, Koselic hunched over after blocking that shot. Dahlin trying to go through a whole bunch of people, can't. And now, goes loose, shoots Thompson, and the puck, where is it? It goes over. Shoots again! Stopped by Swayman. Now gets back to the point. Power's got it. Power back to Dahlin. Dahlin looking for some sort of passing lane. Zucker gets it to Dahlin. Dahlin looking for passing lane. Gets it back to the point to Power. Power shoots. Goes wide. Thompson shoots. It's blocked. Power gets it to Tuck. To Dahlin. Dahlin along the boards. Gets to below the goal line. Zucker's got it. Back to Dahlin. 15 seconds on the power play. Shoots! Stopped by Thompson. And now Boston trying to get the puck out of the zone. Thompson keeps it. Thompson to the point. Power. Back to Thompson. Back across. He fanned on the shot. I think that was Dahlin. Darlene found the shot, but Buffalo does keep possession. Trying to get something in front. Can't. It's cleared. Boston's back to full strength. What a kill from the Boston Bruins. And now, once again, still playing on here. Buffalo trying to reset in their defensive zone. Here comes... I don't know who that was. That was number 17, I think. I think it was still Zucker. Turnover! Shoots! And just goes wide. Oh, that was a terrible turnover from Boston. And they clear the zone. And this is not going to be icing. Byram's got it. Passes it to the point. And that puck goes out of play. They say deflection. And that's going to be 1-0 Buffalo still. So very interesting to know there's some good opportunities on the power play for the Buffalo Sabres. But once again, it just deflects a little bit wide on that Thompson shot. What a blocker from Jeremy Swayman. Beauty stuff there. I do appreciate you guys all for tuning in. So thank you for that. And you're not missing anything. We are in a commercial break. So once again, you're not missing anything. Let's see here. We're just going to check into the Wild Stars game. And Minnesota's up 2-1. Let's go. They're just showing a highlight here. And it was, let's see here. Boldy, I think, who put it in. I'm not sure if that would be goalie interference or not. Yeah, there's 12 seconds left in the first period. Once again, I'm not sure if they're calling that goalie interference or what. It might have just happened. But it looks like Boldy has given the Wild a 2-1 lead for the time being. Let's see. Looks like they called a goal on the ice. 12 seconds left in the first. Boldy has been such a monster. Excuse me. It looks like they are going to review it for goaltender interference. I'm not sure if that was a coach's challenge or if that was just something else. But once again, it's 2-1 Minnesota currently, but Dallas is challenging it. So we shall see what happens here. Once again, we'll go back to the Boston-Buffalo game. Just give me a second here, guys. Let's see here. Hold on a minute here, guys. Once again, still commercial break, so you're not missing anything. I do appreciate you guys all for tuning in, so thank you. Let's see here. Once again, you're not missing anything. 1-0 Buffalo over the Boston Bruins right now in the second period. Boston just cut off a power play. It's really good stuff there. Love to hear your thoughts down in the chat below. I do appreciate all of you guys for tuning in. I thank you. I really do appreciate that. Really does help with the channel. We'll have another live stream on Thursday, whenever that game is actually going to happen between the Stars and the Wild. Once again, they're just showing some highlights. Tuck got across to Darlene, and Darlene, it looks like it took a deflection off of Aspiro right to Swayman, and Swayman was able to cover up. So good stuff there from Jeremy Swayman. On the attempt from Rasmus Dahlin, once again, they're just showing KeyBank Arena or Center. I don't know exactly what it's called. It's KeyBank, I think, Center. Once again, defense's own faceoff draw here for the Buffalo Sabres. And Boston is able to win the draw, but it goes back to Buffalo. Timmins gets it around, and Buffalo is able to stretch out. Here comes Buffalo. Boston swats it away, and Zacha with a nice pass, intercepted by one of the Buffalo players, and Samuelson's now got it. Samuelson trying to reset in the defensive zone, stretch feed, tipped in, I think it was, and Boston's going to be able to regain possession. Hampus Lindholm around the boards, and Boston does gain possession in the offensive zone. Zacha and Huznadinov are chasing after it. Let's see here. And Boston is able to keep possession. The shoots! And that one was tied up in, I think, Pasternak's legs. He couldn't get the shot away. Now here comes Boston. Nice play from, I can't remember who that was, number 20. I think that was Yoki Haru. Pass in front, shoots! And that one, I think, went wide or high. Buffalo now has it. Benson across to one of the other Buffalo Sabres players. I think that was Doan, and Doan's just going to dump it down. Remember, Buffalo is playing a forward down. Noel Osland will not return to the game. Boston, nice feet ahead. Here comes Geeky. Geeky parting it back across to Middlestead. Can't. Middlestead trying to fight for it. Buffalo gets it. Zucker's got all on the boards. Boston intercepts. Shots, and it's in front. They can't get a stick on it. Geeky's got it to Lindholm. Lindholm shoots. Short side, can't get it through. Lindholm gets it again in front. It's in! Boston scores! Dang nabbit. I think that was Elias Lindholm's goal. He put it off of a Buffalo Sabre. It goes over Alex Lyon. And the Boston Bruins have just tied this game up at one apiece in the middle of the second period. Good stuff there from the Boston Bruins. Let's change this to a 1 goal for the Boston Bruins. Let's see. Once again, Middlestate got it to the corner. Zaka got it around. Lindholm had it, shot. It was blocked. Zucker tried to clear it. He could not. And I don't know how the puck went in. Let's see. Lindholm loops around. And it went off of Lyon's blocker. It goes off of the top of Lyon's blocker and over his blocker into the net. A bad bounce there for the Buffalo Sabres, and the Boston Bruins have made this a 1-1 game. So good stuff there from Boston. Offenses, neutral zone faceoff draw here now between Buffalo and Boston, and Buffalo is going to win the draw. And here comes Timmins in his own zone, loops it back around, and the Buffalo Sabres send it deep. Krebs, intercept, shoots, and where's that puck? Oh, Swayman almost had a disastrous turnover, reminiscent of the Vladar turnover a couple days ago. And now here comes a Spiro who gets it across to McAvoy, and the Boston Bruins now take it into the offensive zone, hits a couple of Buffalo Sabres players. Stanley's got it along the boards to Krebs. Krebs tries to feed it into the neutral zone. He does. Boston's able to recover possession, and they dump it into the Buffalo Sabres zone. Stanley fighting for it with, I think that's Steves. And now along the boards, Boston trying to get to it, and they can't. Timmins lost his stick. He gets it back to the point, shoots, and it's tipped, and Lyon made a nice save. Stanley's got it, chips it around the boards to Alex Tuch, and Tuch is going to send it deep. Here comes Krebs, but Boston's able to intercept it, keep it in the neutral zone, but they lose possession, and now Timmins has it in the defensive zone. Here comes Stanley. Stanley looking for it. Nice pass across, and nice stop there. Buffalo's going to be able to regain possession in the defensive zone. Tries to pass, could not do it. Boston intercepts. Middlestate has it along the boards in the Buffalo Sabres zone, but can't hold the line. And here comes Buffalo. Mallenstein with some speed along the wing. Goes around the net. Mallenstein looking for a passing lane. He gets it to the point. Shot, tipped in front, stopped by Jeremy Swayman. A nice stop from Swayman with 9:12 left in the second period. I'm guessing they're going to go to an intermission, commercial break here, and they are. Once again, almost terrible turnover for Swayman. Krebs put that puck under his pads, but Swayman, nice stop there, and then they're showing the highlights here. Going to commercial break. And it is currently 1-1 between Boston and Buffalo. Elimination game. The Sabres could eliminate the Boston Bruins. So very interesting note there. Once again, third periods have been the Buffalo Sabres' bread and butter this entire series. In Game 1, they outscored the Buffalo Sabres 4-1 in the third period. In Game 2, the Buffalo Sabres outscored the Boston Bruins 2-1 in the third period. In Game 3, they outscored the Boston Bruins, I think it was 2-0 in the third period. And in Game 4, they outscored them 2-1. So that's 4-2-2-2. So that's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 goals from the Buffalo Sabres in the third period to Boston's, hold on a minute here, 1, 2, 3. Boston 3. So the Buffalo Sabres have outscored the Boston Bruins 10-3 in the third period in this series. So just because it's tied, don't expect it to be tied. Could go to overtime. This series is one of the few series that has not gone to overtime yet. Utah Vegas went to overtime last night. Edmonton Anaheim went to overtime a couple nights ago. Colorado LA went to overtime in Game 2. The Dallas Minnesota series has gone to back-to-back overtime games. Carolina Ottawa went to overtime, double overtime in Game 2. The Pittsburgh Philadelphia series, I don't think that series has gone to overtime either, if memory serves correct. Those games have all been in regulation. The Montreal-Tampa game went to overtime 3 consecutive games before the last game. And then, of course, this game has not gone to overtime. So the Boston-Buffalo series and the Pittsburgh-Philly series are only 2 series currently with no overtime games. So once again, we'll see what happens. Once again, if Buffalo wins this tonight in regulation, the series will complete with no overtime games. So once again, it'll be very interesting. I'd love to do a little bit of overtime playoff hockey. Have not been able to do one in my 4 games of play-by-play last week. So we shall wait and see. Once again, first potential series clinching game since 2011. So it has been, what is it now? 11 would be 15 years ago. So yeah, a decade and a half it's been since the Buffalo Sabres have had the opportunity to put someone in away. So it'll be very interesting to see if they are able to. Let's see. Buffalo in the offensive zone. Kozak loses it. Boston gets it, clears it down the zone. This might be another icing call for Boston, and it is. So another offensive zone face-off draw for the Buffalo Sabres. So really interesting to note there. Once again, some really good stuff so far. Buffalo is looking really good. I really do appreciate you guys all for tuning in. Shots are currently 12-10 for the Boston Bruins. So that is the current shot count. Once again, the other game is in intermission. Next stoppage, we will change that to second period. Boston wins the defensive zone faceoff draw. And it's Peak, I think, who tries to loop it around, can't get out of the zone. Krebs keeps it. But now Boston has it, and they may have a break here. 3-on-2. Boston in the offensive zone. Pass in front. Shoots. Oh, no. He can't get the shot away. Nice back check from Alex Tuch. And now the Buffalo Sabres may have a little bit of a break here. Here's Tuch. Gets it to Dahlin. Dahlin looking for some sort of passing lane. Shoots. Stopped by Swayman. And now the puck goes below the goal line. Boston's able to get it. And they are going to get to the neutral zone. Hunzanadinov, I think that is. Just dumps it in. Buffalo's going to be able to intercept that puck. And Byram can't get it. Boston keeps the zone. Pasta along the wing. Tries for a little bit of a move. Shoots. And goes wide. Rebound. How did that not go in? What a save from Lyon. Boston's going to be able to keep the puck in the zone. But just for a second now, Buffalo is going to tip it in. Nice tip from Krebs. And Boston's able to get the puck in the defensive zone. McAvoy tries to start something up. McAvoy, nice pass, tipped in. Lyon has to go back behind his net to get it, and he is able to get it across to one of his Sabres teammates, and I think that's Quinn. Quinn trying to go around a couple of people, and he does. Jack Quinn shoots, and that one just went wide. Buffalo's able to get back possession. Back across to Byram. Byram at the points, loops it around in. Zucker's got it behind the net, trying to keep it in, and they do. Byram gets to below the goal line, gets it around to Zucker, can't hold it. And Buffalo looking for something, and they keep it in. Byram has space. He's got time. He loses the puck, gets it back, shoots, tipped in front, stopped by Jeremy Swayman. Offense no face-off draw here for the Buffalo Sabres after another nice stop from Mr. Jeremy Swayman. So good stop there. Shots are now 13-12. It was 9-5 after the first period. So the Buffalo Sabres are out shooting the Boston Bruins here in the second period. And they have been really, really good. Once again, if you guys can, leave a like, subscribe, comment, leave a chat down in the chat below. Love your guys' opinion on all of the games so far in the postseason and on this game here in particular. Once again, they're just showing here, Aspiro had a chance, and he put it, oh, nice stop. Looked like it was going in, but Lyon's pad pushed it into the post, which popped it out. Another nice stop there from Lyon. They're just showing some of the replays. Now, offensive zone face-off draw here for Buffalo. Benson's got it here after Kozak's waved out against Kostelic. Benson and Kostelic in the face-off draw, and now Kostelic is waved out. So now one of the other Boston players, that's Hunzanadinov, or Corrali, is going to take the defensive zone face-off draw, and Corrali does win it. And Boston is able to get possession. They get it out of the zone along the walls, a tie-up. Interception. Here comes Benson. He's trying to make some moves. Passes it across, and he can't get the pass away. Buffalo, Stanley shoots. Can't get it. Another shot, and they can't find the loose puck. Boston's able to get possession. They get the puck out of the zone. Stanley's got in the defensive zone, trying to reset something here. Benson's got it into the offensive zone, trying to find some sort of passing lane, gets it around the net, and Buffalo's able to keep possession for a time being. Kozak to the point. Stanley's got it. Stanley trying to hold the line, can't, and now that's Doan who has to go back to try and reset. And now here come the Buffalo Sabres with Boston making a little bit of a line change. Doan trying to move around everyone, shoots, it goes wide. It's on the other side for the Boston Bruins, and Corrali is able to chip it out of the defensive zone. Buffalo is able to get it, they dump it back in, and Boston with the intercept. Boston dumps it in. Lyon decides not to play the puck, and a couple of Sabres and Bruins are fighting for it below the goal line. Buffalo is able to get there, and it looks like there is a penalty on the play, I think. I don't know who that was. Once again, just give me a second here. I don't know who that was on. It looks like it might be on Buffalo. Let's see what the penalty call is. Let's see here. And it might be, I think, tripping on Samuelson. So I think the Boston Bruins might be just going to the power play. Once again, they're just looking at some of the highlights here. Stanley with a nice hit on Kostelic, and Kostelic was a little bit shaken up going off the ice. So not great to see there. Once again, they're just showing Benson, who broke his stick, went to the bench, got back onside, got the puck back, entered the offensive zone to try to make something happen, but could not. Once again, it is Samuelson to the box. Kostelic is getting looked at on the bench for the Boston Bruins, and Boston's about to have a power play here. Shots now 12 apiece. So very interesting note there. Once again, offensive zone face-off draw for Boston on the power play. They win the draw. McAvoy's got it. Back to, I think that's Lindholm. Lindholm tips it in, and he's below the goal line, gets a nice backhand feed to McAvoy. McAvoy to Pastrnak, I think that is. Pastrnak shoots, stopped. It goes wide. Lindholm's got it. Lindholm back to below the goal line to Zacha. Zacha to Lindholm shoots, stopped. It's stopped by Lyon. McAvoy's got back at the point. Looking for some sort of passing lane, gets it to Pastrnak. Pastrnak gets it back to McAvoy. Going in, shoots, tries to go top shelf, cannot. Buffalo's got it. Tuck, I think it is, and he's just going to dump it down. Nice play from the Buffalo Sabres. Boston's got it again. 1:19 left in the power play. Boston is going to loop back. McAvoy's got it. Passes it back. A little bit out of the reach, but now Zacha does get it. Zacha to Lindholm. Lindholm enters the offensive zone. Too many sticks in there, but he does get the puck back. Here's Pastrnak. Back to McAvoy. Shoots, and I think that one went out of play. I think that one went out of play. I think it took a deflection off of a stick. So very interesting note there. Minute left on the power play. Let's really quickly change this here. Hold on a minute here, guys. Let's see. Let's just change that to second period. Let's see, second period. Okay, so that should be good. The Minnesota Dallas should be starting the second period in the very near future. Once again, you're not missing anything. We're just about to have a face-off draw here between the Sabres and the Bruins. And the Bruins, Zacha's kicked out, so he has to go in. A minute left on the Boston Bruin power play. So once again, really, really good game here so far between the Bruins and the Sabres. And it is Buffalo who wins it. Power's got behind his own net, trying to kill off a little bit more time, and he dumps it into the Boston zone. So good clear there from Owen Power. 50 seconds left on the Boston Bruin power play. 5 minutes left in the second period. Elias Lindholm's got the puck, trying to get into the offensive zone. Gets it to, I think that's Pastrnak. McAvoy's got it. Back. Paster's got the point. Trying to fakes the shot. Nice pass. Shoots. And how did that not go in? That looked like it was in. Once again, I think that puck went wide. Pastrnak has in the offensive zone. Passes it across to Zacha. Zacha to McAvoy. McAvoy to Kuznetsov. McAvoy's got back to the point. To Zacha. Zacha to McAvoy. McAvoy trying to get it. He does keep possession. McAvoy on the other side gets it to Zacha. Zacha back to McAvoy. McAvoy to Pastrnak. Pastrnak trying to get away from a Buffalo Sabres forecheck. He can't. Now McAvoy has it. Back to Zacha. Zacha back across. Shoots, and I think that was a stop in play. Hold on a minute here, guys. I don't know if that's going to be a penalty. Once again, power play is over for the Boston Bruins, but we do have a stoppage in play here. I don't know what that's about. Once again, they're just showing some of the highlights. Zacha with a nice feed, and oh, he just missed it. That's one Geeky wants to have back. Lyon was down and out for the count. He had the entire top of the net to shoot at, and he just could not bury it. I think Geeky's going to want that one back. So bad stuff there from Geeky, missing the open net, but the Boston Bruins are able to have a couple of good opportunities on the power play, but just not able to put one in. Once again, you're not missing anything. We are on commercial break. Let's just really quickly double check in here on the Stars Wild game. This is going to be a very interesting one. Once again, it looks like they are still in intermission, so you're not missing anything in the Stars Wild game. My guess is once this Buffalo Sabres game enters intermission, the Stars Wild will start the second period. So very interesting out there. And once again, later tonight, we do have Ducks versus Oilers. This is a very interesting game. Ducks are going to be looking to put away the Edmonton Oilers in just 5 games. And there's questions about McDavid's health. He is a game-time decision. So, trying to stave off elimination against a highly potent Anaheim Ducks team without Connor McDavid is going to be quite a tall task for Edmonton if McDavid does not play. Once again, McDavid's such a resilient player. I expect him to play. It would have to be a huge injury if he is not able to go tonight. And once again, we know that he's dealing with some sort of a leg injury, I think it is. I think this might be some sort of an ankle injury. So once again, not something surprising there, but very interesting. Buffalo, Boston's been a very tight, closely contested game. So that's going to be interesting. Once again, you're not missing anything. We are in commercial break. It's a 1-1 game here between the Sabres and the Bruins. Once again, other games that are going on. Once again, just over the start of the second period, Dallas, Minnesota is tied at 1 apiece. And starting in about just over an hour's time, we have the Ducks versus the Oilers. So some very interesting games that are going to be happening later today. Once again, I expect this Ducks Oilers game to be starting right around the time that this game ends, so long as it doesn't go to overtime. So that's going to be very interesting. Once again, you're not missing anything. Let's see how this is going to go here. They're just coming back here. 4:24 left Second period, and it looks like Boston's going to the penalty box now. Let's see, what exactly was this about? High sticking on Hunsnadinov. He high sticks Stanley. That's why the play was called off. Okay, so offensive zone faceoff draw here for Buffalo as they get their third power play of the game just seconds after Boston's power play. Boston does get the puck, though, and they get it down the ice. So Buffalo will have to reset. Dahlin behind his own net, and he's going to bring it into the neutral zone. Dahlin drops it off for a speeding McLeod. McLeod enters the offensive zone, passes it across, and the puck is going to be fought for and cleared by the Boston Bruins. So nice play there from Boston. Lyon gets it, touches it back to, I think that's Dahlin, and Dahlin's going to once again enter the neutral zone and drop it off for Ryan McLeod. McLeod speeding down the wing, and he's going to enter the offensive zone, drops off for Zucker, drops off for Dahlin. He's got a little bit of space here, trying to set something up, and he gets it to, I think that's Zucker, and now they get it back in the front, shoots Zucker, stopped, and now Thompson gets it back to the point to Dahlin. Dahlin gets it back, now he does, to Thompson. Thompson with a nice feed, tipped in front by Zucker, cannot put it in. Tuck's going to be able to get it, can't get it to McLeod, but now here's Zucker. Zucker has a little bit of space, shoots, and that one's stopped by Swayman. The puck is loose, and now it's covered up by Jeremy Swayman. Solid cover up there from Mr. Swayman. And with 55 seconds left in the power play, McAvoy is on top of Jason Zucker. So once again, I think the Buffalo Sabres are looking for an extra power play, extra penalty call in Boston. I don't think they're going to get it. Once again, Zucker with a nice try going into the offensive zone, a nice stop from Jeremy Swayman in front. And then, of course, he tried to jam away at the loose puck, and McAvoy just took him down to the ice. So once again, I don't think there's anything being called in the play. I might be wrong on that, but it looks like it'll still stay a 55-second power play for the Buffalo Sabres. Zucker's back on the bench as the Buffalo Sabres change up their units. Now the second unit out there, they lose the zone, and Boston's able to get it and clear the puck down the ice. So Buffalo's going to have to reset with 49 seconds left on their power play and 3:10 left in the second period. Byram's got it now. Byram passes it to the other side, and now they loop it back to the defensive zone. Here's Zach Benson. Benson going into the offensive zone, trying to go to work. Passes it across, and Krebs can't keep it in. Corrali's got it. They're fighting for it below the goal line. Corrali looking for it, can't find it. Boston, though, does get it, and they do barely clear the zone. Nice clear there from Boston with 20 seconds left in the Buffalo power play. Byram has to try and reset with now 15 seconds in the power play. Byram's going to pass it across. Nice play there. And they're going to leave it back for Benson. Benson enters the offensive zone, drops it for Krebs. Krebs gets it to Byram. Byram looking for a pass, gets it to Doan. Doan looking in. Penalty is over. And now the Buffalo Sabres are going to keep it below the goal line. Benson looking for some sort of passing lane. Gets it across to Krebs. Krebs to the point. Shoot Byram. Stopped by, I think it was just blocked. And now it gets back past Byram. And Byram has to regain possession in the neutral zone. Here comes Buffalo. Now Dahlin's got it, and he dumps it down. Nice play. 1:58 left in the second period. Buffalo has to regain possession in the neutral zone. Dahlin's got it, dumps it back into the Boston zone, where Boston recovers possession. And the Boston Bruins are going to be able to send it in. Buffalo is going to loop it back around. And here comes, I think that was Zucker. And now here's Boston. Dumps it back into the Buffalo zone. Lyon out to play it. Maybe a little bit dangerous there. Pasternak shoots. And that one didn't go in. Try to bank it off of Lyon, who's trying to get back in his net. Boston, though, does keep possession. And now it's intercepted by Buffalo. But Boston's able to get it back. They dump it back into the offensive zone. However, Zacha is offside, and they have to take up. So Buffalo regains possession as Samuelson looks to try and find some sort of a passing lane. Samuelson just in front of Lyon, looking for some sort of a passing lane here. And he is going to pass it to Thompson. Thompson gets it. Thompson streaking in to the offensive zone. Tage Thompson passes it back. And now here comes Buffalo again. Power to Tuck. Tuck shoots, and it's blocked. And Boston's going to be able to get there. 50 seconds left. And Boston trying to get there in the defensive zone. And they're able to get it. Here comes Buffalo. Power with a nice stretch feed. And that puck is going to be taken by Boston. I think that might be an icing call, or there might be some sort of a stoppage here. Once again, the intermission is just about to come out. There's 44 seconds left in the second period. Once again, they're just, stoppage in place, so they're just doing some of the highlights. So very interesting note there. You're not missing anything. We do have a little bit of a stoppage here. Once again, they're just showing the on ice reporter for the for the game on Sportsnet. Krebs has it. Krebs fighting for the puck. Boston's got it to the point, and they can't hold the line. 33 seconds left. Boston trying to regain possession in the neutral zone. Hampus Lindholm's stick broke, but Boston is offside. Boston tried to capitalize on it because Lindholm did get the puck in, but they were offside. So not great stuff there from Boston. 27 seconds left in the second period, and it is still a 1-1 game. Once again, they're just showing the replay here. Lindholm tried to send it, and as he tried to feed it in, his stick just snapped. So very interesting to note there. It's still been a very interesting game so far. 27 seconds left in the second period, and it is still a 1-1 game. So this one should be heading to intermission in the very near future. Neutral zone faceoff just outside the Buffalo blue line. Here to the closest to your screen, Buffalo wins it. Chip it back into the neutral zone, trying to get it back from Boston. The Bruins do wind up getting it. And here comes Geeky. Maybe a little bit of a chance here. Shoots, stopped by Lyon with 14 seconds left. And another offensive zone faceoff draw here for Boston. Once again, 14 seconds left here in the second period. So very interesting to note there was a very tightly contested game so far. 1-1 game here between the Bruins and the Sabres. So very interesting to note there. Once again, we'll get you some updated during the intermission. We'll get you the stats that have happened so far in the first two periods between the Buffalo Sabres and the Boston Bruins, and then we'll go over and look at how the Dallas-Minnesota game is going. Once again, offensive zone faceoff draw here for Boston. It's Lindholm against McLeod, and McLeod wins the draw. Back to Byram, and Byram is going to miss the first clearing attempt, get the second one. 8 seconds left. Shot on Lyon. Nice stop from Lyon. 4 seconds left. They're fighting for it in the corner, and that is going to be the end of the second period. And it looks like there might actually be some rough stuff here at the end of the second period between Buffalo and Boston. I think one of the Boston players actually took down a Buffalo player. So very interesting note there, but we go into intermission in a 1-1 scoreline. Once again, Buffalo trying to eliminate the Boston Bruins in 5 games. Boston trying to force this series back to Boston for Game 6 that will be taking place on Friday. So very interesting to note there. Just give me a second here, guys. I'm just going to change this to, hold on here. Okay, yeah, this one. This is now going to go to intermission. And you are not missing a thing as we are in intermission. I'll give you a quick intermission report, and then we'll go over to check the Dallas-Minnesota score. So we'll check that out. Just give me a second here, guys. Okay, so let's charge this. Make sure it doesn't die. Hold on a minute here, guys. Just give me a minute. And let's see how this game is going. Okay, so intermission report here. It's a 1-1 scoreline. Dahlin scored a power play goal in the first period. That was followed up by an Elias Lindholm goal and assisted in the second period. So that is where we sit right now. It's 1-1. Shots are currently 16-13 for the Boston Bruins. So really good stuff there for Boston. Some other stats. The Sabres are 1 for 3 on the power play. The Bruins are 0 for 2. So both teams have missed on 2 power play attempts. Buffalo is at least hit on one of them. Buffalo still slightly leads the faceoff percentages. They've won 17 of 33 faceoffs. So good stuff there for Buffalo. Once again, some other stats. Hits are 29-22 in favor of the Boston Bruins. Block shots are now 12 apiece between Buffalo and Boston. Giveaways are 15-13 in favor of the Boston Bruins. And takeaways are 3-1 in favor of the Boston Bruins. So a couple of stats there in Boston's favor. But Boston and Buffalo are still tied at 1 apiece. So very interesting to note there. Once again, I'll just go over here to Minnesota-Dallas. And once again, that goal at the end of the second period was apparently called off. So it's still a 1-1 scoreline here between Minnesota and Dallas. Once again, when we checked in, I think it was just before the period started between Buffalo and Boston. Minnesota did score to put themselves up 2-1, but that one was apparently, it was going under review when we went back to the Buffalo-Boston game, and apparently it did not count. So Minnesota-Dallas are still 1-1 here in the second period. Dallas has had the puck in the neutral zone. And Dallas loses the puck, gets it back, and I think there's a penalty here upcoming for one of the Wild or the Stars. It looks like a tripping call on, let's see here, Eriksson Ek by the looks of things. So it looks like Dallas are going to go to the power play. Well, they already have a goal today. The goal for the Dallas Stars came on the power play, Miro Heiskanen from, I think it was Duchesne or Robertson. I might be wrong on that. Yeah, Eriksson Ek definitely did trip up Miro Heiskanen. So Eriksson to the box, and the Dallas Stars will look to make them pay for a second time tonight. Once again, I'm hoping the Minnesota Wild win this series. They're my cup favorites. I would love to see them get past round one. So I'm rooting for Minnesota in this game. I could see Dallas win it, but I'm really hoping Minnesota is able to. Foligno, McCarron, and Faber are on the ice here, along with Middleton for the Minnesota Wild. The Wild do win it, and Faber's got the puck, and he just sends it down the ice. Nice play there from Brock Faber. Really good stuff there from Faber. Once again, the Stars are 9 for 20 and on the power play in the series, 5 for their last 6. So the Stars power play has been clicking on all cylinders. Dallas has it. Duchesne, looking for some sort of passing lane, gets to Minnesota, and Minnesota's going to be able to get around the boards. Faber, I think, is over there, and Faber's just going to send it back down to the Dallas end. So good stuff there from Minnesota. Once again, really good stuff there. And there's another stoppage in play here. Might have been like an offside or something. Once again, I expect this series to go potentially to 7. I said Wild in 6. That's another reason why I'm hoping Wild win. I just love to see the Minnesota Wild do some really good damage here in the postseason. They are my cup favorites for a reason. And then once again, in about 45 to 50 minutes, we will get the start of the Oilers and Ducks game. Once again, that game might be going on just as the end of the Boston Buffalo game, depending on if it goes to overtime. Once again, Dallas making some passes in the offensive zone. On the power play, Duchesne's got it. To Johnston pass, he can't get it. Minnesota's going to get it back out. So good stuff there from Minnesota. Once again, Edmonton, Anaheim will be playing later tonight at 8 p.m. Mountain Time. So really good stuff there. Once again, the Ducks are going to be looking to close out the series on the road. The Oilers are going to be looking to stave off elimination, potentially without Connor McDavid, because McDavid is a game-time decision for tonight's game. I expect him to go, but he has been very banged up all playoffs long. And once again, he might just need a break. So we shall wait and see what happens there. Once again, the Oilers are a team who is capable of coming back from down 3 games below. It's a team who's capable to come back and win 3 games in a row. But I'm just not sure they're going to be able to with all of their injuries. And once again, I don't like the Oilers. I'm a Knights fan. I'm a Kraken fan. After that series a couple of years back when Vegas won the Cup, between Vegas and Edmonton, I really started hating the Oilers. And I really do hope they're at least first rounder here by the Anaheim Ducks. I would love to see that. I know I picked Edmonton, but I would love if I was wrong and the Anaheim Ducks advanced to round 2. So once again, we'll wait and see how that game goes later tonight. Once again, Dallas in the dying stages of their power play, and Minnesota clears it. So Dallas is going to lose this attempt here on the power play, 2-1, and Dallas does have possession of the puck, but Minnesota is going to kill off that penalty, so good stuff there from Minnesota. And Minnesota is able to get it. This might be a little bit of a break here, and Dallas is actually going to be able to keep the line. Shoots, nice try to get it across, but too many bodies in front by Minnesota. Let's see here. Once again, second intermission between Boston and Buffalo. And Dallas and Minnesota are currently in the second. So very interesting to note there. Hold on a second here, guys. Minnesota and Dallas fighting for the puck along the wall. Minnesota does get it and dumps it into the offensive zone. Zuccarello's got it. Hughes to Faber, shoots, stopped, and Minnesota can't get there. Very interesting. Hughes has it. Hughes looking for a pass. Hughes to, I think that's Faber. Yep, now Minnesota's back, and it looks like they were offside. So, very interesting out there. Shots are currently 13-7 for the Wild. Remember, they did win game 1 6-1 over the Dallas Stars. So, the Stars won game 2 4-2 over the Minnesota Wild. So, both teams have won in Dallas, and they're going to commercial break. So, once again, very interesting to note there. It's been a very close game here between Minnesota and Dallas. So, good stuff there. And we'll see how that happens. Once again, you're not missing anything in our game because Boston and Buffalo are currently still in intermission. So, once again, you're not missing anything there. Once again, if you guys can, leave a comment, leave a chat down below. Love your guys' opinion on the playoffs in general so far. Has there been any surprises to you? Has there been any, have you thought that most of the series have been going the way that it's supposed to? And what do you think about today's games? Are you surprised that Boston Buffalo's tied? Are you surprised that Minnesota Dallas is tied? And who do you think is going to win today? Will it be Boston or Buffalo? Will it be Minnesota or Dallas? And will it be Edmonton or Anaheim later tonight? So left you guys' thoughts and all that down in the comment section below. Left you guys' opinion. Once again, you're not missing anything. Our game's in overtime, in intermission, and the other game is in a commercial break. So you're not missing anything. Once again, I do appreciate you guys all for tuning in. I really do appreciate that. I do hope you guys tune in for the third period. This is going to be an entertaining one. I expect Buffalo and hope Buffalo wins, but wouldn't be surprised if Boston maybe tried to make a big push. Once again, if you're just looking into the stats, in the third period, in the first 4 games of the series, the Buffalo Sabres have outscored the Boston Bruins 10-3 in the third period. So Boston, or 10-4 actually, in the third period. So Boston has been heavily outplayed in Buffalo. And look at the 2 games in Buffalo so far. Buffalo was down 1-0 to Boston entering the third period in game 1. And on top of that, Buffalo was down 2-0 just a couple of minutes into the third period. And then they scored 4 of the last 5 goals and won 4-3. And then if you look at game 2, Boston was up 3-0 entering the third period. They got an early goal to make it 4-0, and then Buffalo scored a couple of late ones to make it 4-2. So Buffalo loves to play late in the third period. Once again, they are back here between Dallas and Minnesota. Just give me a second here, guys. And they're just talking to Robertson on the bench. I think that's Kevin Weeks who's interviewing him right now. And Minnesota's got it. So very interesting to note there. Minnesota-Dallas 1-1 series, 2-2 series, 1-1 game here between the Stars and the Wild. Puck is in the Minnesota zone. Minnesota trying to break out here. And they are able to. Tarasenko's got it to Trennan. Trennan's got around to, I think that's McCarron. McCarron fighting for it, trying to get back to Trennan, could not. One of the Wild players just fell down. Once again, I think that's Bogosian trying to fight for it, and now the Stars break out, maybe a 3-on-2 here. And Myers trying to go there, cannot. Minnesota's going to get possession in the defensive zone. McCarron trying to fight for it along the boards, and he's going to feather it out to one of the Wild players. And now it might be a 3-on-2 here for Minnesota. Melton's got it, and he's going to loop back around after he dumps the puck in the offensive zone. Here comes shoots. Nick Foligno stopped by Dallas's keeper, Mr. Jake Ottinger. So good stuff there. And now once again, Minnesota and Dallas are fighting just in front of the net. So good stuff there. Once again, you're not missing anything. We still have a couple of minutes until the Buffalo-Boston game gets back underway. So very interesting to note there. It's been a very entertaining game between the Sabres and the Bruins. So once again, you're not missing anything. They're just looking at Robertson, some of his stats. He's a restricted free agent for this offseason, so he's going to be a name to watch out for in the offseason. I still think he stays with Dallas, but there has been some talk about potential trade involving Jason Robertson. So we'll have to wait and see. But here, offensive zone faceoff draw for Minnesota. So that's going to be interesting. And he's got 9 goals in his last 9 games. He's got 4 goals in this series. He scored in every single game this series, and he's going to try and do it again. So let's see. Once again, they're fighting for it in the corner. Dallas does get possession, and they are going to take it into the offensive zone. Here comes Dallas, tries to feather a feed, looking for a tip, can't get there. Now Minnesota gets possession in the neutral zone, streaking into the offensive zone. Here comes Trennan, I think. He can't get there. Nick Foligno with a nice hit. And Minnesota can't keep the line. Dallas with a nice stretch feed. It goes to Wallstead, who's going to get it to, I think that's Quinn Hughes. And Minnesota's going to get there, dumps it down. Onger's got it, and he's going to loop it back around. Here comes the Minnesota Wild back in front, and they can't get it. Once again, another board battle here between the Wild and the Stars. Dallas is going to be able to pressure, but Minnesota keeps it on the boards, and now Dallas gets it, and they flip it out of the zone. So good stuff there for Dallas, and I think it might be flipped too high and out of play. So good stuff there for Dallas. They're going to get a whistle here. Once again, they're just showing you tomorrow's slate of game action. I'm not doing any live streams tomorrow, but Montreal-Tampa will play at 5 p.m. Mountain Time. Then Philadelphia-Pittsburgh will play at 7:30 p.m. Mountain Time. And then Utah-Vegas at 8 p.m. Mountain Time back in Vegas. The first and last ones are Game 5. Philly-Pittsburgh is Game 6. So it'll be very interesting to see how those games go tomorrow. Once again, no series can, well, except for Philly-Pittsburgh, no other series can end tomorrow because the other 2 series are 2 apiece. So one of them's going to go to a 3-2 lead after tomorrow. So very interesting note, there's still 11 minutes left in this second period between Dallas and Minnesota. And let's see here. Rutskovian tried to get it along the boards, and he is able to. Good stuff there from Rutskovian. And now Minnesota's got it along the boards, trying to fight for it, along with one of the Dallas players. And Minnesota was able to get there. Once again, they're just previewing tomorrow's game. and Minnesota is nice shot from Dallas. It was blocked by one of the Wild players, and Dallas is able to keep in the offensive zone. Johnston trying to fight for it, and he can't. Johnston does get it. Back to the point, shoots. It was hit by Wallstead, saved by Wallstead, but mind you. But Dallas does keep it. Myers shoots, and Johnston, sorry, not Myers. And another nice stop from Wallstead. Dallas having some pressure here, trying to get themselves back into the lead. And that's tipped out by Kaprizov. Nice play from Kirill Kaprizov to get that puck out of the zone. So good stuff there by the Minnesota Wild star player. Now Dallas has it. And Dallas turns it over. And they can't get there. Boldy, there might actually be a holding call here on one of the Dallas players because Boldy would have had a breakaway. Let's just see here. Just give me a second, guys. And interference call on Tyler Myers. And Minnesota's going to be going to the power play. Let's just double check that the Sabres Bruins game's not over just yet. Just give me a second here, guys. And nope, they are still in the intermission, so you're not missing anything in Buffalo, Boston. Once again, you're not missing anything. We're going to go back to Dallas, Minnesota. Minnesota power play now. Hughes has it to Eric's neck. Gets it across to Kaprizov. Kaprizov back down the Boldy. Back to Kaprizov. Back to Hughes. Hughes back to Kaprizov. Kaprizov back to Boldy. Boldy to Kaprizov. Kaprizov shoots it. Tipped in front. And looking for it. Fighting for it. Zuccarello can't find it. Boldy gets it back to Kaprizov. Kaprizov back shoots and goes back around to Quinn Hughes. Hughes skates into the closer to the net. Gets it to Zuccarello. Good to see his back. He's on the power play. He's a big piece of that. Gets it to Boldy. Boldy to Zuccarello. Zuccarello back to Boldy. Boldy to Kaprizov. Kaprizov to Hughes. Hughes to Eric's next shoot. Stopped by Onger. Dallas gets possession, and they clear the puck. Good clear there from the Dallas Stars. Wallstead's got it, and he's going to just try and outweight one of the Dallas Stars attackers, and Minnesota is able to keep possession. Kaprizov to Hughes. Skating past a couple of people. He uses it for Boldy. Boldy skating through everyone. Gets it to Zuccarello. Zuccarello gets it, shoots! Eriksson stopped by Ottinger with 50 seconds left on the power play for the Minnesota Wild. So good stuff there. Nice try from Eriksson. And the Minnesota Wild are going to have a couple more seconds of power play time, but some good chances there from the Minnesota Wild. Kaprizov with a nice try. Couldn't feather it through. A couple of nice whacks at it from some Wild sticks in front, and just could not put it home. So very interesting out there. And then Zuccarello had it to a wide open Joel Eriksson, and nice stop there from Onger. We'll just really quickly go and double check that Boston Buffalo hasn't started yet. Give me a second here, guys. And nope, not yet. Still in a commercial break. So let's just double check how this Minnesota and Dallas game's going. Just give me a second here, guys. I do appreciate you guys all for tuning in. You're not missing anything. The Boston Buffalo game is still in intermission. Minnesota has a power play right now against the Dallas Stars in the second period. Minnesota's got it, and they are able to keep possession. Tarasenko below the goal line, back around to Johansson. Johansson to Faber. Faber back to Johansson. Johansson trying to find some sort of a passing lane. Can't. Hartman gets it around the boards. 20 seconds left in the power play for the second unit for the Minnesota Wild. Tarasenko's got back to Brink. Brink trying to find some sort of passing lane. Can't. Turns it over. Dallas clears it. That should do it for the power play. Let's just, while we're waiting here, change this. Hold on a minute here, guys. And let's change this to the third period. Just change this here. Third period. So that's just about to get in the way here between Boston and Buffalo. Let's get that there. Okay, Dallas now has in the offensive zone. 7 minutes left in the second period. And with a Minnesota Wild and Dallas Stars tied up at 1 apiece. Dallas is gaining possession into the offensive zone. Blackwell across, back to the point, and they are able to keep it. No problem. Once again, you're not missing anything. The third period is just about to get underway between Boston and Buffalo, and currently the Minnesota Wild and Dallas Stars are tied 1 apiece in the later stages of the second period. Dallas having some offensive zone pressure here, and Minnesota is able to clear it. So we'll keep tabs on that game as we go along. Once again, it should be an intermission in the very near future. But we'll get back to Boston Buffalo here, and I think we'll just stay here. This game, I think, is close to starting the third period. So once again, we are not missing anything at this point in time. that should be getting their way in the very near future. So once again, as soon as it starts, we'll be doing the play-by-play. It is currently a 1-1 scoreline. The Boston Bruins tied it off of Elias Lindholm's stick in the second period after Rasmus Dahlin opened the scoring. So once again, it's a 1-1 game. Love to see OT hockey. I haven't done a stream where we've gone to OT yet. But once again, Boston does not do well in third periods. They're being outscored in this series 10-4 by the Buffalo Sabres. So Buffalo has owned Boston in the third period so far this series. And if they win this third period, Buffalo's going to go to the second round for the first time in, I think, a decade and a half or maybe closer to 2 decades. So once again, it's been a while for Buffalo. I would love to see him do this on home ice. Once again, you're not missing anything. We're just getting started here for the third period between Boston and Buffalo. So you're not missing anything whatsoever at this point. Hold on. Yep, they're just zooming in here. There should be an offensive zone faceoff draw here or neutral zone faceoff draw here. Between Boston and Buffalo, the start of the third period has come. They're just talking to the reporters at this point. And once again, this has been an entertaining series. Once again, Boston-Buffalo game 1. Buffalo had that crazy comeback. Game 2, Boston dominated. Game 3 was a very close game in which Buffalo won. In Game 4, Buffalo dominated. So we'll see how this happens. Boston has it in an offensive zone, and they can't put it home. One of the Boston players took it off of a Buffalo Sabres stick in the defensive zone for Buffalo. McLeod has it. Tries to get across to Zucker, and he can't. McLeod loops it around, and Buffalo's going to keep possession for the time being. Power loops it back around. Boston intercepted it, tried to get past, could not. And now Zach is going to feather it across to Peak. Peak dumps it into the defensive zone. Buffalo's going to be able to take it. And here comes Buffalo. Jack Quinn trying to get through. A couple of people can't. Zucker, though, does get possession. Gets it around the boards to Quinn. Quinn trying to get around from Geeky. He can't. And now here come the Boston Bruins. 1-on-4. Buffalo's able to take off the Boston player off the puck. Buffalo's going to be able to tip it in. Thompson, nice play there. Boston gets it around to the other side of the other side. And now here comes Boston. Middlestead gets it into the offensive zone. Power goes after it. So is Byram. Byram gets possession. And Byram loops it back around the boards. And I think that's a Spiro trying to get to it. Can't. And nice trying to feed it to the point, but can't. And it goes all the way down the ice. And here, Swayman left it for one of his players, but Buffalo's able to outrace him. Here it comes. Loops around the boards. And Tuck trying to fight for it, can't, along with Geeky and a Spiro, and the Bruins do get out of the defensive zone. Good stuff there from Boston. Buffalo's got in their own zone. 18.5 left in the third period, 1-1 scoreline. Timmins now takes it as Buffalo tries to reset. Here comes Buffalo, and Benson chips it in. Boston gets it back, and they chip it back into the Buffalo zone. Buffalo has to regain possession, and they do for the time being. Boston gets it back, trying to find some sort of a passing lane, and Buffalo is able to keep it away from the net. Buffalo has it. Here's Josh Doan. He gets hit by Isamont, and Boston loses possession. Yoki Haru chips it back into the Buffalo zone, and Stanley has to race after it as Isamont chases him. Stanley gets it to Timmins. Timmins along the closest wall to Doan, and Doan dumps it in. No icing on the play. 17:50 left in the third period. Boston has it. Gets along the boards to the Buffalo Sabres blue line, and Buffalo is able to regain possession. McLeod fighting for it. Boston does get it, and Buffalo is able to get possession. This might be a 3-on-2 here for the Sabres. Quinn looking for it, passes it back to Zucker, shoots, stopped by St. Wayman, and the puck goes to the corner. Boston is able to get it. Boston trying to find some sort of a passing lane, and they are not able to get there. Buffalo gets it back into the defensive zone, and now some hits exchanged along the boards as both teams go for a change above. Boston resets in the defensive zone. I think that's Peak trying to get something going here, and Peak is going to feather a nice feed as Boston tips it into the offensive zone. Lyon tries to get around the net. He does. Byron fighting for it, along with Pastrnak and Zaka. So is Power. Pastrnak can't get there, but Huznadinov does. Huznadinov back around to the bottom of the net. And now Boston trying to get there, and they do. Here comes Pastrnak around the net, looking for some sort of passing lane. Shoots, and it goes to behind the net. Once again, Boston keeps possession. Boston to the point, Pastrnak blast, and it goes wide. Buffalo trying to find some sort of a passing lane to get it out. Buffalo power, looking for some sort of passing lane. He does. Here comes Tuck into the offensive zone, trying to get a little bit of space here. Shoots. Stopped by Swayman. Nice stop. The puck goes around the boards and into the neutral zone. Boston chips it into the defensive zone. Buffalo after it. Power and Geeky fighting for it along the boards. Now Samuelson and Middlestat. Samuelson tied up. Middlestat can't get it, though. Once again, they're fighting for it in the corner. Buffalo is not able to chip it out. Now they are, and they do get out of the zone. Boston has to retouch up. Buffalo gets possession of the puck. 16 minutes left, third period, and a 1-1 score. So very interesting so far in the third period. And Buffalo just trying to wait some time, and they get back to Samuelson, just waiting in his own zone, trying to reset some things. And Samuelson gets it, and they enter the offensive zone. Nice play there from Buffalo. Trying to get across. Passes it across to Doan. Shoots. Stopped, and the puck goes below the goal line. Here comes Buffalo. Back to the point. Shoots. And it's tipped in front, but nice stop from Swayman. And Swayman's going to hold on with 15 and a half left in the third period in a 1-1 scoreline. So, once again, you're not missing anything. We're about to have a face-off draw here for the Buffalo Sabres in the offensive zone. Nice try here from Buffalo. Nice stop from Swayman. And once again, Buffalo just relentless, being able to keep pressure in the offensive zone. I think just went off of Swayman's block, or that shot did, from the point. So a good stop there from Swayman. Once again, they're just showing Samuelson who took that shot. Once again, Buffalo and Boston trying to take the lead. Boston is out shooting Buffalo now 18-13 as of right now. So very interesting out there. Once again, Ducks Oilers will get underway in about 25-ish minutes. So stay tuned for that one. That one's going to be a really good game. And Buffalo's players waved out. Kozak is going to switch with Benson. So Benson's going to take the face-off draw here for the Buffalo Sabres. And Benson is going to lose the draw to Kostelich, and Boston regains possession in the defensive zone and gets it into the Buffalo zone. Buffalo now has it, looking for some sort of passing lane, and they are able to get it. And now here comes Benson. Benson trying to set some things up here. Flips it into the Boston zone to the left of Swayman, and Buffalo's taken down, shoots, tries to get in front, and there's a logjam in front, and Swayman's got it covered up. Tried to sneak it in. I think it was like a little bit of a wraparound thing by the Buffalo Sabres, but they just could not bury it. Swayman with another nice stop with 15-10 left in the third period. Once again, Benson here just chipped it in, went after it. Boston was able to get there, but Benson got it first, tried to tip it in front, and once again, another nice stop from Swayman. Swayman has been one of the difference makers in this series, and I thought he would have had to been. Like, Swayman is the one guy who can win this series for the Boston Bruins if they can somehow win 3 straight games. So once again, Swayman's been great. Benson with a nice try feed in front, but he could not get anything going. And now the Buffalo Sabres will have, I think, another offensive zone face-off draw. Yes, they will. Tuck out there against, I think that's Isamont. Or, hold on, no, it's Corrali. Thompson against Corrali, or Hunzanadinov, and Hunzanadinov wins it. Now it's McAvoy to the middle to, I think that was Lindholm, and Lindholm dumps it in. Thompson's got it. There's a penalty upcoming, or is that offside? Hold on a minute here, guys. There might be a penalty on the play. Let's just see here. Just give me a second. Oh, yeah, it's Tuck. Tuck is arguing to the box. Boston's going to get a power play here. Let's see. What was the penalty? Let's see. He high sticked at Spiro. Tux had an errant stick, and he wound up at high sticking a Spiro. Yeah, that's going to get called. So the Boston Bruins are going to the power play. It has been a very entertaining game so far. Let's see here. Hold on, Tuck to the box. 2-minute power play. Boston is so far 0 for 2 on the night on the power play. So Boston's going to be going to the power play here. 15:01 left in the third period. Once again, on the ice right now is Pastrnak, Elias Lindholm, Pavel Zacha, Morgan Geeky, and Charlie McAvoy, the top unit for the Boston Bruins. So let's see how this unit does for Boston. And now they're going to get an offensive face-off draw here. Zacha wins it to the point, but it is waved off. The face-off's going to have to be redone. So once again, I think Zacha's going to have to go and do this again. That's Ryan McLeod in the face-off draw, and Zacha does win it to the point. McAvoy, a cross shot, and it goes wide. Boston's able to keep it. No, they're not. Buffalo trying to chase for it. Mallenstein tries it, but it was just a little bit too out of his reach, and Boston's going to be able to regain possession. Here's Zacha. Zacha chipped it into Pastrnak, and Pastrnak going after it in the defensive zone. Gets it in front. Zacha shoots, and I think that was blocked. It goes up and out of play. Another nice block, I think, from one of the Buffalo Sabres players, or Lyon got to it. And a nice try from Zacha. He had space, he had time, he shot that puck, but he was not able to find net. Let's see, Zacha shot. Yeah, it was stopped by Lyon. Nice blocker save. And he was able to put it up and over, actually more of a shoulder save. And he was able to put it up and out of play. Minute 37 left on the power play for the Boston Bruins. 14:38 left in the third period. Zacha, Pastrnak still out there with Lindholm and Geekie and McAvoy. Geekie's got the point. McAvoy to Pastrnak. Pastrnak to Lindholm. Back to Pastrnak. Pastrnak shoots. Blocked in front. Buffalo gets it. Sends it down the ice. Nice clear there from Buffalo with a minute 23 left in the power play. Very interesting to note there. McAvoy's got it. Passes it back to Zacha. Zacha trying to find some sort of passing lane. Gets it to Geekie. Zacha gets it again. Trying to loop around a couple of Buffalo players, and he does. Back to the point to McAvoy. McAvoy to Zacha. He's got a little bit in the slot. Now it's Pastrnak shoots. Or that might have been Geekie, actually, but it was wide. Boston's got to get the point. Here's Lindholm. Back to Geekie. Back to Pastrnak. Tries a shot. Nice try. Short slide on Lyon, but he could not find the net. Boston's got back to the point. McAvoy shoots. Tipped in front. Stopped by Lyon. Stanley shoved Lindholm out of the crease as Lindholm tried to a little bit of a whack there. Now a pile up in front of the net between Boston and Buffalo. Some more rough stuff occurs. Pastrnak, Zacha, Lindholm. And once again, there's 40 seconds left on the power play for the Boston Bruins. So good stuff there. And once again, Buffalo trying to kill off their third consecutive power play of the game. Once again, Buffalo trying to advance to round 2. Here comes, they're just replaying here. Geekie shot and went off of Lyon's mask. Oh, what a stop from Alex Lyon. Once again, 7 goals in his last 8 games since snapping a 17-game goal drought for Geekie, and he's got a couple in this series, so he's lethal. Once again, they do have some changes here. Pastrnak shoots, and it goes wide. Once again, their second unit's basically out there except for Pastrnak. And Boston trying to find some sort of passing lane, trying to get away from Buffalo, and they do get it back to the point. It's Milstead, I think, stopped. Pasternak's got it again. Pastrnak gets it across, as I think that's Minton trying to get to it. He can't. McLeod gets it. Samuelson to Timmins, who's trying to find some sort of a passing lane. Gets it to the point, though. Boston does keep it in. Here it comes back to Pastrnak. 10 seconds left on the power play. Milstead has it. Walking in front. Shoots. And it's stopped. It goes wide. Back to the point. Back to Pastrnak. Pastrnak trying to get back. Full strength now for Buffalo. And the Sabres with a nice stretch feed to Tuck, who's now out of the penalty box. Trying to get around a couple of people. Can't. However, he does pass it back in the neutral zone, and Buffalo keeps possession. Byram, as Buffalo's making a line change, back to his D partner. I think that's Dahlin or Power. And now Thompson has it. Loses the puck, but now the other Sabre defender gets it and dumps it into the Boston zone. Boston trying to regain possession, and they do. Buffalo fighting for it in the corner just behind Swayman. Tuck gets it, but now Boston gets it. Now a wall battle between a couple of players. Jeannot trying to keep the puck, and he's not able to, but Kostelic does get it, and he gets out of the zone. Smart play there from Kostelic. 12 minutes left. Shots are now 20-14 for Boston. Buffalo, though, has the puck. Byram coming in. Byram looking for a passing lane. Gets it in front, and it's blocked by one of the Boston Bruins players. Now Kostelic trying to get to it. He can't get it out. Thompson has it across. Cannot fight it to Byram. Byram fighting for the puck along with a couple of other people. Krebs gets it. Krebs at the point, looking for some sort of a shooting lane. Krebs is going to spin around, get it to the wall. Krebs now behind the net. Krebs looking for a passing in front. Oh, Thompson can't hit it. Thompson was over there. He just fanned on it. And now at the point, Byram back in front. And Dahlin can't hit it. Back around the boards, and now Boston clears. A couple good chances there for Buffalo, but they can't capitalize. Here comes, I think that's Benson, or maybe it's Byram, and now Buffalo gets it back. Benson in there trying to fight for something here. Korzak's got it, chips it back into the Boston zone, fighting alongside, and now Boston gets it. Isamont is going to dump it down to the Buffalo zone. However, Buffalo is able to get it back. Stanley fends it around the boards, gets it to Doan. Doan gets it across the ice to the other side, And now Buffalo trying to enter the offensive zone. Benson trying to get there. He can't, but Buffalo does regain possession in the defensive zone, trying to set something up here. 10:53, 52, 51, 50 left in the third period. So very interesting note there. Buffalo's trying to get this game across the finish line, trying to get the go-ahead goal. Thompson's got it. Trying to get it. Back in front. Shoots. Stop. Rebound. Swayman, another nice stop. Oh, man. What a stop from Jeremy Swayman. 10.5 minutes left in the third period. Here comes Dahlin. Gets it across the Byron. Back to Dahlin. Dahlin sends it down the ice. And I think that might have taken a deflection and went out of play. So it looks like there'll be a neutral zone face-off draw here. It looks like we're going to commercial break, so you're not missing anything. 10.5 left in the third period. Couple good chances from both teams, but the Buffalo Sabres just cannot. Thompson, another nice chance, but a great stop from Swayman's pads. A fantastic stop to keep that a tie game as Buffalo fans look on in disbelief. So once again, you're going to commercial break. Nothing else at this point. Dallas, Minnesota intermission yet. Yes, they just went, Minnesota's up 2-1. Oh, this time this might have counted. Oh, fantastic. Yes, Boldy, he did get a power play goal. Oh, fantastic. He didn't get one to end the first period. He's going to get one to end the second. Oh, what a huge goal for Matthew Boldy. Once again, they're just showing here with just a couple of seconds left. Hartman tried to make it 3-1, but he was not able to. So once again, they're going to intermission. Matthew Boldy is going to be able to get the go-ahead goal for the Minnesota Wild, and they now lead 2-1. That is lovely. I love to see that for Minnesota. Like I said, I'm hoping they win this series, hoping they win this game. I'm streaming Game 6 on Thursday. Don't know the time yet. Probably going to be announced after the Edmonton-Anaheim game later tonight, because that will be the only other game that happens on Thursday. So that's my guess at this point in time. But Minnesota's taking a 2-1 lead to the third period. Love to see that. Hope they can close out in the final 20 minutes. There's 1 second left on the second period clock. Let's just change this to 2-1 Minnesota, which is fantastic. Love to see that. That's great for the Minnesota Wild to get that lead. So love to see that. Once again, they're just trying to see how much time's left. It looks like there were a couple of seconds left. So they have to come back out for the... Once again, some of the players are going in. Andrew has to come back onto the ice because I thought there was second period, but there was apparently 1 second left. So they're just calling the Stars players to come back once again. Yes, go Wild, go Sabres. I'm hoping that's the Stanley Cup final. It was what it was predicted beforehand. Once again, I'm really hoping those two teams advance. I love to see either one of them win the Stanley Cup because you know me. I like my teams, Buffalo, Ottawa, Seattle, and Vegas. But I also love teams who don't have much success, and Buffalo and Minnesota are two teams who are the epitome of teams who have not had much success over the past 10, 20, 30 years. So I'm really hoping both those teams are able to do some good things. We'll go back to Buffalo-Boston here, as that game should be getting back on their way now. Once again, it looks like it'll be Minnesota 2-1 at the end of the second period. Boston has it in their own zone with now just under 10 minutes to go in the third period. Once again, Boston trying to find some sort of a passing lane here, and they do get it into the offensive zone. Shot on Lyon stopped with 9:49 left in the third period, and still a 1-1 scoreline between Boston and Buffalo. Once again, we've seen Buffalo score some late third period goals. Game 1, Game 2, both times they had some really good late scoring in the third period in Buffalo. So we shall see if they're able to replicate that today. Once again, there's under 10 minutes to go here. Swayman, they're just showing Swayman highlights at this point. He has been fantastic. He's kept them in this game. Once again, he gave up the early power play goal to Rasmus Dahlin. But since then, he has been fantastic, and he's been keeping Boston in this game. Once again, Boston is out shooting Buffalo, but still good stuff from Swayman. A spear out the point after the Boston Sabres went. Oh, that one took a deflection, almost went past Lyon, but he made a nice pad save. Buffalo has it now, and they do get into the offensive zone. Here comes Zucker, shoots, and that's another nice stop from Swayman. He's going to hold on with 9:34 left now in the third period, or actually Greenway, that is. Sorry, I didn't realize that. It was 12, not 17. So Greenway with a nice shot. Once again, yeah, that one took a deflection off of a broken Middlestead stick, and somehow Lyon was able to just readjust just enough to keep that puck out. So good stuff there from Alex Lyon, as he's been pretty good. Remember, he came in Game 3 for the Buffalo Sabres after that bad 4-2 loss. Since then, gave up one goal in Game 3, gave up one goal in Game 4. Currently has only given up one goal in Game 5. So looking to try and keep it as a 1.00 GA for his playoffs going into potentially the second round if Buffalo is able to win tonight. Let's see how this one goes here. McAvoy's got in the defensive zone, skating with it, trying to get some space here. And he is going to be able to get into the offensive zone, but that puck looks like it deflected out of play. So I'm not sure if that was deflected out of play or if it was offside. But either way, it's going to be a face-off draw here between the Buffalo Sabres and the Boston Bruins. Stoppage with 9:25 left in the third period. 23-17 shots on goal for the Boston Bruins currently. So Bruins are still out shooting the Buffalo Sabres. It has been such a very tight game. Once again, I do appreciate you guys all for tuning in. If you can, leave a like, subscribe, comment, leave a chat down in the chat below. Tell all your friends best hockey content on YouTube is here at the End to End Hockey channel. Offensive zone face-off draw here for Boston. Thompson out there against Minton in the face-off dot, and Minton is able to win it. Gets it to Spiro, shoots. I think that was stopped by Lyon, and we're going to have another offensive zone face-off draw. 9:23 left in the third period for the Boston Bruins. Once again, Bruins trying to stave off elimination, and Buffalo Sabres trying to advance to round 2 for the first time in a decade and a half, maybe closer to 2 decades. So very interesting note there. Once again, you're not missing anything. 9:24 left in the second period, and they are going to commercial break. So you're not missing anything. And once again, Wild Stars is currently in intermission, so you're not missing anything in that game either. Just really quickly trying to see how that goal went in. Good stuff there. So far, once again, we will be entering the third period in that game soon. And about 10, 15, maybe 20, closer to 20 minutes, we will have the start of the Edmonton Oilers-Anaheim Ducks game. That one's going to be a fantastic one. So I really do appreciate you guys all for tuning in here. Once again, you're not missing anything. Intermission between Minnesota and Dallas. And it is in the later stages of the third period between Boston and Buffalo. Just past the halfway mark. So you are not missing anything. And in about a couple of minutes, the Edmonton-Anaheim game will start. So once again, very interesting. Once again, I am going to be doing a couple more live streams later this week. On Thursday, we will be having the Dallas-Minnesota live stream. Don't know the time yet. Will probably be announced later tonight after the Edmonton-Anaheim game. But we will be streaming Dallas-Minnesota on Thursday, which will be a very fantastic game. Then on Friday, we'll be streaming either the Utah Mammoth taking on the Vegas Golden Knights, or the Montreal Canadiens take on the Tampa Bay Lightning in Game 6. Remember, the winner of those 2 games tomorrow will have a chance to end the series on Friday. So I'm not sure which one yet, but we'll be streaming one of those 2 games. And then I'm going to try and get to as many Game 7s as I can. I can't guarantee I get to all of them, especially the ones on Sunday. I don't know exactly how much I'll be able to have left in me by that time. On top of that, I don't know how many series will go to 7, and also don't know how my weekend will go. But I'll try to get to as many Game 7s as I can on the weekend, depending on how many games go to 7. So we'll see that, but definitely we're going to have another live stream on Thursday between Minnesota and Dallas, and on Friday between either Montreal, Tampa, or between Vegas and Utah. We'll see how the games go tomorrow, and then I'll make the decision. Boston wins the offensive zone faceoff drop back to a Spiro. Buffalo intercepts it. Maybe a little bit of a break here for Buffalo. Here comes Zucker. Zucker in. Back to McLeod, and he can't put it home. McLeod now loops around the Sabres net. A little bit of a glitch there in the stream for a second here. Sorry, you guys. Buffalo loops it back around to McLeod. McLeod along the boards, trying to get some sort of passing lane, gets it to Zucker. Zucker trying to keep it in, and he does. Buffalo has a below goal line, shoots, and that one went off of Swayman and around the boards and goes back into the Buffalo Sabres zone. Samuelson's got it. 8:50 left in the third period. Samuelson to Dahlin. Dahlin to, I think that's McLeod. McLeod entered the offensive zone. Here comes Buffalo, and they're trying to feed something across. Zucker's got it. Tipped in front, and the puck never reached Swayman. Buffalo does keep possession, though. McLeod trying to get it in front, cannot. Takes the deflection, goes out of the zone. Buffalo has to regroup. 8.5 left in the third period. It was a 1-1 game. Buffalo and Boston fighting for the puck. And here comes Timmins. Timmins to Thompson, I think that is. Thompson dumps it down. Thompson along the goal line. And the puck goes along the boards. Buffalo is able to keep it in for a second. And here comes Buffalo with the puck. I think that's Tuck. Tuck to the point. Shoots! A shot from the point from one of the Sabres players. Cannot. Krebs got it. Back to the point. Tries to get it across. Now Boston may have a little bit of a break here. Corrali cannot corral that puck. And now Boston has to try and just dump it in. Nice play, but Janot's just a little too far for Janot. And now Boston has to regain possession. Buffalo trying to get it against Boston. And let's see here. Timmins has got it to Stanley. Stanley looking for some sort of a passing lane, gets it to Timmins. Timmins to one of the Sabres forwards, and they dump it in. 7.5 left in the third period. Remember, Buffalo has scored some late goals here at keeping center in the postseason earlier this year. Once again, Doan's trying to get to it. There's a little bit of a scrum in front, trying to get around Swayman. It looks like Swayman does have the puck. And now some more pushing and shoving between Buffalo and Boston. Remember, both teams do have 3 penalties. So we shall see if there's any called here. Once again, it's been a very entertaining game here. Once again, they're just showing this one here, the 2-on-1 here for Zucker. And I think it was McLeod. Once again, nice pass here. And once again, there's just McAvoy, nice play in front to keep that puck away from the charging Sabre. So very interesting out there. Once again, just showing some of the highlights there. Once again, they are saying Ducks Oilers will be starting soon. Once again, probably about 10, maybe 15 minutes. Ducks Oilers game 4-5 will start. So that'll be an entertaining game for you guys to keep your eyes on. Once again, the other game is still in the intermission, and we are in the late year stages here of the third period. Buffalo has offense's own faceoff draw here. And the Sabres are both trying to fake each other out on the faceoff dot, and Boston does win it. Lindholm gets it to McAvoy. McAvoy around the boards and can only get to the neutral zone as Boston is able to recover possession, but I think there's a stoppage here. I'm not sure exactly what it's for. But either way, we're going to get, I think, a neutral zone faceoff draw here for the Sabres and the Bruins. Once again, they're just doing some more highlights. There'll be a face-off draw just outside the Boston Bruins blue line as the Sabres are taking on the Bruins here. Shots are now 24-17 for Boston, so they're outshooting Buffalo by 7 shots. Boston looking for the puck here against Buffalo, and Boston does win it. Lindholm's got it back to the defender, back across, and Middlestate, I think, is the one who tipped it down. Lyon tips it for Byram, and the Sabres do get a puck out of the zone. Buffalo's able to get it. Trying to get some sort of a passing lane going, can't. Pass was off, Boston intercepts. Buffalo's able to intercept it and recover possession in their own zone. 6:56 left. Third period, 1-1 scoreline. Byram slowly working his way to the red line, and he shoots it in. Boston trying to find some sort of passing lane, and he can't. And now Boston is going to get puck down the ice. Byram trying to fight for it, and he gets it back to Power with Lindholm all over him, and Power is going to try and set some things up with 6.5 left in the third period behind his own net. Power looking for it, and he's going to get there. Nice play, getting in front. Passes it, shoots, stopped by Swayman. Tried for a tip in front, could not get there. Went right on Swayman, who gloves it down. Solid play there from Jeremy Swayman with 6.5 left in the third period and a 1-1 scoreline. So good stop there from Swayman, who has been, once again, brilliant in today's game. So it'll be very interesting to see how the rest of this game goes. Once again, it was a nice shot. Try to get a deflection from McLeod. It might have actually been deflected from McLeod, but not enough. And Swayman does wind up keeping it. Let's see what happens here. And once again, Buffalo offenses on faceoff draw to the right. Swayman, and Boston does win it, but they're going to have to redo the faceoff. So another faceoff draw here. I guess Zacha didn't win it cleanly. Once again, McLeod out there against Zacha. Zacha has been a little bit better in the faceoff dot. And it is, I think that's Zacha who won it. Boston gets possession of the puck behind their own goal line. Hunsnadinov racing for it, and he is going to try and feed it in front. Cannot. Buffalo is able to get down there. Nice play from Boston to get the puck back. In their own zone, streaking up the wing, they dump it into the offensive zone. Pasternak's got it. Pasternak trying for a little bit of a spin move, can't. Dahlin tries to feed it up, get out of the zone, and now they're fighting for it along the boards. Buffalo is able to get it for a second there for Dahlin, and now they're just fighting for it. Pasternak gets it back to the point. Boston has it at the point, and they dump it back around to the behind the nets, behind Lyon, 5:46 left. Third period. Boston's got it. Pasternak takes it, shoots, stopped, and now Buffalo may have a little bit of an on-man rush here. Here comes Jack Quinn. Quinn trying to go through everyone, and he is taken down. I don't think that's a penalty, but Quinn definitely got a bit big. Here's Power, shoots, blocked in front. Thompson shoots, and that one I think might have hit the post. Oh, that was a very close to a goal for the Buffalo Sabres. A couple of nice shots here from Buffalo. 5:20 left in the third period. Buffalo trying to end the series here and now. Thompson has it. Drops it back, but there's no one there, and Boston's going to be able to recover possession. Here comes Boston, dumps it down, and I don't know if that one went over the net or if that one I don't know if that one went over the net or if that one was deflected out of play, but yeah, Thompson once again shot it. Let's see what happened here. And oh, it went off of Zucker. It looked like it was going slightly wide. It went off of Zucker's, I think, knee and out. So once again, nice try here from the Buffalo Sabres, but they're not able to capitalize. Once again, in a couple of minutes, the Edmonton-Anaheim game is going to start. So that one's going to be interesting. Let's see here. Hold on a minute. I'm just going to change this here, you guys, to be in the first period because that's going to get in our way in the very near future. So with it being commercial break, I'm just going to change this here, first period. And once again, the third period is going to start soon for Dallas, Minnesota. Let's just move this over here. Let's see. Hold on a minute here, guys. And that, I think, is good for now. That should be good. Okay, so it's first period scoreless. That should be starting in the next 5 to 10 minutes. And we will change the Dallas, Minnesota one to third period because that one's going to be changed in the very near future too. And that's going to start the third period soon. So good stuff there. Those games are about to get on their way in the first and third period. Once again, if you're just joining us, Buffalo opened the scoring a few minutes into the game on a power play goal from Rasmus Dahlin to give them a 1-0 lead. And then in the second period, Elias Lindholm was able to get his second of the playoffs off of a weird deflection behind the net. Off of a beautiful pass from behind the net to give the Boston Bruins some life and tie the game up at 1 apiece, which is where we sit right now. You're not missing anything. We are in a commercial break. So you're not missing anything. Other scores right now, Minnesota opened the scoring thanks to Matt Zuccarello. That gave them a 1-0 lead. Later on in the first period, Miro Heiskanen scored a power play goal to tie the game up at 1 apiece. And then in the later stages of the third period, Minnesota would score. It was Boldy on the power play that gave them a 2-1 lead, and that's where they are currently in intermission. That game will be starting the third period in the very near future. Once again, I am really hoping Minnesota wins that one. But once again, we're back here with Buffalo and Boston. There's, I think, just over 5 minutes left. Neutral zone face-off draw between Buffalo and the Boston Bruins. So very interesting note there. McAvoy's got it to Aspiro. Aspiro back to the Boston line, and they do dump it back into the Buffalo zone. Isamont fighting with Byram for the puck. And see, it is, hold on a minute here, guys, to the point. Aspiro can't hold it. And now here comes a 4-on-2 for Buffalo. Doan has a little bit of a step here, tries to feed it, gets it in front. They can't. Too many bodies in front from Boston. And now Boston does get possession. Here come the Boston Bruins. And Boston is able to recover possession in the defensive zone. Aspiro gets the puck. Aspiro back to, I think that's McAvoy. McAvoy loops it around. Buffalo with a pickoff with 4.5 left in the third period. Buffalo trying to end this thing here and now. Boston's got it. Lindholm to, I think that's Aspiro. Aspiro gets it. And nice stretch feed. Boston trying to get there. Milstead has the puck knocked off his stick. And the puck goes wide. And Boston has the point. Shoots! And that one goes wide. Geeky now has it to the point. Middlestead's got it. Shoots and tries to go short side. Could not get it for Lyon. Buffalo is able to get the puck back. And Boston has to take up as the puck went offside. Once again, Edmonton-Anaheim should be starting in the next 10 to 15 minutes. Let's see here. Lindholm, once again, just stopping right now. 3.5 left in the third period. Boston fighting for their playoff lives. Buffalo trying to end their playoff series winning drought. Buffalo gets it in the corner behind Alex Lyon. Boston now takes the puck, and they are hit off the puck. That's Zacha trying to fight for it, can't get to it. And now Buffalo gains possession. Nice pass. It hits the Buffalo player, goes into the Boston zone, but Boston is able to recover. Peaks got it with 3.5 left in the third period in a 1-1 game. Here comes Zacha to Pasternak, shoot, stopped by Lyon, and the puck went right in front, but there were no Bruins there to tap it in. And now Boston does stay again, tipped in front, and just goes wide by Boston. Buffalo takes it, and they're fighting for it in the corner. Buffalo looking for it, and Timmins gets it out. Buffalo going 2-on-4 here. I think that's Byram, and it is. Byram trying to get around some of the Boston players, fighting for it in the corner with Isamont. Zacha and Krebs join the fray, trying to fight for it in the corner. 2:40 left in the third period. Buffalo trying to get it out, and the offensive zone gets it back to the point. Buffalo has a little bit of a space here. Shoots, and I think that was a deflected. Boston gets it and clears it back down into the Buffalo zone. Buffalo's got with 2.5 left. Buffalo trying to end something here in regulation. Here comes the Buffalo Sabres. Stops up, power, looking for some sort of a passing lane. Shoots instead, goes wide. Buffalo does keep possession. Here comes one of the Buffalo Sabres. It's in front. See, he can't. Kozak, and he can't keep it in. Puck goes to the point, and Boston clears it. There was a chance, a mad scramble in front. Kozak could not keep it, and is there going to be a penalty here? I don't know. Hold on a sec here, guys. There's 2:04 left in the third period. Let's see what exactly happened here. So the puck took a weird deflection. Greenway's got there, shot it on net, and Kozak tried to put it behind Swayman, could not. And there was a mad scramble in front. A very nice play from Kozak trying to put it off of the back of Swayman and into the net, and he just could not. I think Lindholm actually was able to grab that puck away. So good stuff there from Hampus Lindholm. Offensive zone faceoff draw here for Buffalo, and they're going to redo the faceoff. 2:04 left in the third period. Buffalo pressing here, trying to get the go-ahead goal. And it is Buffalo who loses the draw. Boston gets possession. Minton wraps it around. Nice try, Doan. Trying to feed it in front. Can't. Boston's able to get it, but Buffalo holds the line. Here comes Josh Doan. Back to the corner. Back to the point. Samuelson across. Gets it to his D partner. And now here comes Dahlin. Shoots. Passes in front. And Swayman pounces on the loose puck right in front of him with 1:44 left. In the third period, it was a 1-1 scoreline. So very interesting to note there. Doan fighting with McLeod. Or Doan and McLeod out there in front. Dahlin was walking the blue line, sort of like McCarr did a couple nights ago, but it was blocked. And then Doan tried to get a little bit of a tip in front, could not. So good chances here from Buffalo, trying to get the go-ahead goal. Once again, 1:44 left in the third period, and was a 1-1 scoreline. Shots are 25-17 Boston. Boston fighting for their playoff lives, and Buffalo trying to get their first playoff series win in, I think, a decade and a half, closer to 2 decades. So once again, it's been a very entertaining game here so far between Buffalo and Boston. And once again, Anaheim Edmonton should be getting underway in the very near future, as should the third period between Dallas and Minnesota. Buffalo wins the draw. Tuck gets it back to the point, but it's turned over, and Boston has a little bit of a break here. Kuznetsov trying to get it back in, and he does get it in, but Buffalo is able to regain possession. And Buffalo does not get it out. Here comes Boston. Here's Kuznetsov, who loops it back around to Pastrnak. Pastrnak gets it back. Buffalo's able to hold possession. Thompson's got it to one of his defense partners, and they do clear the zone. There's 1:20 left in the third period. Buffalo's guy here, Thompson, dumps it into the offensive zone, and Buffalo goes after it. Once again, they can't hold the line. Buffalo has to get it back out. Power has it, and they try and reset something here with 1:08 left in the third period. Owen Power looking for some sort of a passing lane here. Power gets it to Thompson. Thompson looking for some sort of a passing lane, can't, but the Buffalo Sabres keep the zone. At the point, Power back to the point. Byram shoots, and that stopped. It goes wide. Boston and Buffalo fighting for it in the corner. Boston gets it. 48 seconds left in the third period, and Boston may have a 3-on-2 here. Buffalo is able to get back, and I think that's offside on Boston. With 43 seconds left in the third period and a 1-1 scoreline. So once again, both these teams trying to get the very interesting go-ahead goal to try and get the lead here. Byram, once again, with a nice shot from the point, and he tried to look for a deflection, and it was just blocker away from Swayman, who's having himself another fantastic night. Once again, we'll see if there's a goal here in the last 42 seconds or if this game is overtime bound. 5-on-5 here, face-off draw in the middle zone, and Boston does win it. They gain possession. 37 seconds left for the Boston Bruins. Boston dumps the puck in, and Buffalo's going after it. Samuelson's got it, chased there by Milstead, and now Power's got it. 28 seconds left in the third period. Owen Power to the red line and in. Once again, Buffalo goes and dumps and chases. Kozak trying to fight for it. He's got Doan and Benson there with him, and Boston's going to be able to regain possession. Elias Lindholm passes it to behind the goal line, and 12 seconds left. It looks like we're heading to overtime. Buffalo and Boston looks like they're going to be going to overtime. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. This game's headed to overtime. Game 5 between the Buffalo Sabres and the Boston Bruins is going to be extended for at least a little bit longer. What a game it's been. A very entertaining game that is now going to overtime. So let's give you guys some of the intermission stats, and then we'll go check on the other two games. But once again, this game is heading to overtime. So once again, sudden death, 20-minute periods. We'll see how long it takes us to get a winner. Once again, so some of the advanced stats here. Let's see. So shots are 25-19 for the Boston Bruins through the first 3 periods. 1-1 scoreline. Dahlin opened the scoring in the first. Elias Lindholm tied the game up in the second period. So very interesting to note there. Once again, face-offs. The Boston Bruins are now the faceoff leader, having won 31 of 51 faceoffs, 60.8% on the faceoff. So very interesting note there. Boston is 0 for 3 on the power play. Buffalo is 1 for 3 on the power play. Buffalo has out-hit Boston 39-24. Boston has outshot Buffalo. Boston has outblocked Buffalo 18-16. Both teams have 19 giveaways, and Boston has 4 takeaways to Buffalo's 1. So very interesting note there. Those are very interesting stats. But Boston does lead now in most of them. So good stuff there. Once again, it's going to be a very entertaining overtime game. This is going to be the first overtime game I am streaming. So very interesting to note there. So hold on a minute here, guys. Let's see here. So hold on a minute. I'm just trying to check some things out for the stream. Just give me a minute here. Just going to try and fix a couple of things up here. So yeah, I'm just going to try. It will, yeah. So this is going to be the first game that I am streaming live. I thank you guys all for tuning in. This has been a very entertaining game. I think this is going to be a very entertaining overtime. Boston trying to stave off elimination, and Buffalo trying to advance to round 2 for the first time since I think it was the late 2000s or early 2010s. So it's been a while for the Buffalo Sabres. So hold on. And well, just a little bit longer, and that should be good. So there we are. And once again, let's go check in on the other 2 games because I think Minnesota-Dallas is now entering the third period. So let's just go double check those 2 games. Just give me 1 second here, guys. Let me try and fix some things here. Minnesota-Dallas. Let's see how this game's going first. And then we'll go check on the Edmonton-Anaheim game. Let's see here. 15:47 left, third period. Minnesota up 2-1 on the Dallas Stars, and Minnesota still trying to take that 3-2 series lead into a game that I'll be streaming on Thursday, Game 6. So that one's going to be very interesting. Hold on a minute here, guys. Let's see. Hold on, and that's going to go to intermission again. So that's going to go to intermission. So let's change that up. Dallas has it in the Minnesota zone, but Minnesota's able to get it and clear the puck out. Good stuff there from the Minnesota Wild. Minnesota might actually have a 2-on-1 here. Pass across, tries to hit McCarron, but nice play from the Dallas defender. So once again, we're in intermission, so you're not missing anything. Minnesota-Dallas. Minnesota does have a 2-1 lead and is up currently 25-11 shots on goal in the third period. Once again, Dallas trying to even up this game. Minnesota trying to take the series lead, as is Dallas. So very interesting note there. Minnesota trying to get a board battle 1, and they do, and they get the puck out. So very interesting note there. 25-11 shots on goal right now for Minnesota. And Dallas has the offensive zone pressure. Ben has it, dumps it down to one of his line mates. And now here's, I think, Rutskovian trying to get some sort of a passing lane going. Gets it back to, I think that's Steele, to Rantanen, back to the point. Trying to get some sort of passing lane here. And Rantanen holds onto the puck, shoots it. It's deflected, and I think Minnesota's got it. They do. Minnesota has it. Gets it to the red line, and they are able to dump it down. Smart play there for Minnesota. 14 minutes left in the third period in that game. Nick Foligno trying to tie up one of the Dallas Stars players and get the puck back. And once again, they're all fighting for it. Minnesota is able to keep it. Faber with a shot that's blocked, and Dallas is able to get possession. Here come the Stars to the red line. In comes Mikko Rantanen. Rantanen trying to get a shot away, can't get past Faber, who hits him into the boards, and Faber and Boldy go forward against Rantanen and one of the other Stars players. Dallas is not able to get there, and here comes Quinn Hughes. Maybe a 3-on-2 here breaking for Minnesota. Instead, Hughes just dumps it in, and right on Onger, who's going to hold up for a face-off. So smart stuff there from the Dallas Stars keeper. And let's go check out how the Ducks-Oilers game's going. Let's just see that here. Hold on a minute here, guys. Let's see Ducks-Oilers. It is live. So let's see if there's a game start here. Looks like they still are in the pregame stuff here between the Oilers and the Ducks. Looks like McDavid is going to be playing, as is Dickinson. So once again, Ingram is starting for that Oilers-Ducks game for the Edmonton Oilers. McDavid and Dickinson were game time decisions, so they must be really banged up if they're both going to be that close to being maybe not playing. But it looks like both of them are going to be in the lineup for the Edmonton Oilers. So looks like that's going to be a big boost there for Edmonton to keep those guys in. Edmonton trying to stave off elimination. So very interesting to note there. Once again, I picked Edmonton 7, but I'm really hoping Dallas winds up winning it because Anaheim winds up winning it because I'm not overly fond of the Oilers. Once again, I'm a Knights fan. I'm a Kraken fan. Don't overly particularly like the Oilers much. So if Anaheim, who does not have much success over the past decade, is able to win and get to round two, would love to see it. Once again, I think it could happen in Game 6 if that one was to go to Thursday's Game 6, but I would love to see it happen here tonight. So we shall wait and see on that. Once again, you're not missing anything. That game is just getting started. The Boston Buffalo game is in intermission, heading to overtime, and then Minnesota Dallas is looks like in a commercial break. So you're not missing anything. Currently, a 1-1 scoreline here between Boston and Buffalo. Once again, your intermission will probably last for another around 10-ish minutes, so you're not missing anything. So interesting note there. Once again, we're back here in Minnesota Dallas, and Edmonton Anaheim should be getting underway in just a few minutes. We'll get back to Boston Buffalo once that game has started overtime, but it's still in intermission right now. They're just currently cleaning the ice here between Minnesota and Dallas. That game is now in the third period. Wild do hold a 2-1 lead. If they can get if they can get this game, it looks like Brodin's injured. It looks like he might block a shot or something. He's wincing on the bench, so that's not good for the Minnesota Wild if they're down. Jonas Brodin, who has dealt with a fair share of injuries this year, so not great news there. Minnesota's offense is on face-off draw here. Eric Sinek against one of the Dallas Stars players, and it's tied up, but Dallas does get the puck. Here comes Robertson, speeds in front, and that one goes into the Minnesota Wild zone. Minnesota is able to take them off the puck. Quinn Hughes is going to stop behind his own net and try and set some things up. 13 minutes left in the third period for the Minnesota-Dallas game. And the puck goes around. It might be an icing call or an offside call in Minnesota. Either way, there's going to be another face-off draw here between Dallas and Minnesota. So good stuff there. Once again, we'll be keeping tabs on both the Dallas-Minnesota game and the Edmonton-Anaheim game in overtime between Boston and Buffalo, but we will be keeping tabs on the other games, so that's going to be very interesting. Let's see here. Once again, they're just doing anthems right now between Anaheim and Edmonton. Remember, this game is back in Edmonton, so we shall wait and see who wins. Once again, I feel like if Boston loses in overtime, very close game, they'll be able to go back to a place in Boston where they've already won twice and outscored Boston 9-2. If they win, the building in Buffalo, in KeyBank Center or KeyBank Arena or whatever it's called, is going to have the roof blown off the place. So we'll have to wait and see who wins it here between Boston and Buffalo. So far, there has been once again, 6 of the 8 series have gone to overtime. After this one, the only other one that has not gone to overtime yet is Penguins Flyers. So I wonder if that game tomorrow will go to overtime. Colorado Los Angeles game 2 went to overtime. Dallas Minnesota game 3 and 4 went to overtime. Edmonton Anaheim game 4 went to overtime. Vegas Utah game 4 went to overtime. The Montreal Tampa game 1, 2, 3 went to overtime. The Carolina Ottawa game 2 went to overtime, and I think this is the last series. So this will be the 10th overtime game of the postseason. Minnesota Dallas have been there twice. Tampa Montreal have been there 3 times, and then 5 of the other 6 series have been there once. Boston Buffalo being the 10th. So very interesting note there. It's going to be very interesting. In the Colorado Los Angeles game 2, it was Nick Waugh. In Dallas Minnesota game 3, it was Wyatt Johnston. In Dallas Minnesota game 4, it was Matt Boldy. In Utah Vegas game 4 last night, it was Shea Theodore. In Anaheim Edmonton game 4 2 nights ago, it was Ryan Poehling. In Montreal Tampa game 1, it was Slavkovsky. In Montreal Tampa game 2, it was Moser. In Montreal Tampa game 3, it was Hudson. And in Carolina Ottawa game 2, it was Jordan Martinook. So we shall wait and see. Who do you guys have winning this game down below? Leave your thoughts for who you think Boston win. Who do you think scores for Boston if they win it? Who do you think scores for Buffalo if they win it? I'm thinking currently Zach Benson if it's for Buffalo, and for Boston maybe Fraser Minton, who's not been overly great in the series. So I'm thinking Benson Minton for my 2 guys who would wind up scoring the overtime winner. I would love to get your thoughts in the chat down below in the comments section. Who you think winds up winning this game in overtime? Once again, you're not missing anything. Edmonton Anaheim is currently just getting underway. They're just finishing up their anthems. And Minnesota Dallas it looks like Minnesota might have just scored. Hold on, let's see here. Just give me a second, guys. And yes, Minnesota's taking a 3-1 lead. Let's go. Let's see who was it here who's got the goal. Just around a couple of seconds here. Let's just see. Hold on a minute here, guys. And we'll see who scored the goal. But the Wild are now going to be up 3-1 with just under 12 minutes left. in the third period. Oh my, while we wait for that to load, I'm going to change this up. Fantastic stuff from the Minnesota Wild. Let's see here, 3-1 Wild. And it was Michael McCarron who got the go-ahead goal in Game 3 for the Minnesota Wild in the second period. That's an insurance marker and a half for the Minnesota Wild. So huge goal there from Michael McCarron as that game's going to be now 3-1 Minnesota. Huge stuff there from the Minnesota Wild to take that 3-1 lead. And there's now 11 minutes left in the third period in the Wild and Stars game. What a game it's been for the Minnesota Wild, who are trying to take a 3-2 stranglehold series lead, something they could not do last year. They had a 2-2 series, exact sort of same script as this year, except once again, Vegas was the one who won game one, not Minnesota. But once again, 2-2 series in that last year's series, and they lost game 3, 3-2 in overtime after there was a disallowed goal in game 5. And then in game 4, in game 6, Vegas won quite handily. I think it was like 4-1 or 5-1 or something like that. So Minnesota trying to win their first playoff series since I think it was 14 or 15. It's been a while since the Wild have won a playoff series as well. So once again, there's 11 minutes left. Wild have a 2-goal lead. Once again, I think there might be a penalty on the play here for Minnesota. Once again, we'll just have to wait and see. It looks like there's going to be at least one penalty here being called, maybe a couple. We'll see. There was a scrum in front of the Dallas goal, so we'll see how that is. 2-minute minor for tripping on, let's see who's that here. It's Middleton. Oh, he took the legs out of Oscar Bach. Yeah, he didn't have a stick, so he couldn't defend it, so he just took the legs out of Bach to make sure that puck didn't go in. So, yeah, no, I'm not going to argue with that call. Tripping call. And the Dallas Stars are going to be going to the power play. Once again, Anaheim, Edmonton. I think that game's just getting underway. Let's see here. Hold on a minute here, folks. Once again, sun's going down, so I might have to turn on the extra lighting. Once again, Ingram is in net. Dostal is in net. Once again, I'm not overly fond of the Oilers, so I'm hoping the Ducks close it out here. Dostal has a good record, but not good numbers. Once again, he has not been overly great. 3.75 GAA, 0.878 save percentage. Ingram started the first 3 games for Edmonton, has even worse numbers, a 1-2-0 record with a 4.70 GAA and an 849 save percentage. So we shall wait and see who wins this one. Once again, McDavid is good to go after being listed as a game time decision earlier today. And the Anaheim Ducks are actually going to win the opening faceoff. So we'll keep tabs on those 2 games, but I'll see back if Buffalo-Boston is close to starting yet. Let's just give it a second here. There's about 4 minutes left until overtime starts. So that's going to be interesting. We'll just stay here with Anaheim-Edmonton for the next couple of minutes. Edmonton's got it in the offensive zone. They lose it. Anaheim's got it. They dump it into the Edmonton zone. Once again, we'll just stay here until like about 7:25 or 8:25 Mountain Time, actually. Once again, Edmonton's got it, and they tip it in. It looks like it's off that side on Edmonton, so they have to tag up. Anaheim's got some space here to reset. Ducks trying to end the series here. Leo Carlson cannot, and now Anaheim has to go back down to get it. Once again, it's Jackson Lacombe, who's been a monster in the postseason. You look at Lacombe's stats, he's not only shutting down McDavid, but he leads the league in scoring going into, I think, yesterday's game action. So, Lacombe is having himself a series for the Anaheim Ducks. Let's see, Anaheim's going to be able to get there, and they do dump it down the ice. Once again, nothing looking here. Dostal sends it below the goal line. Trouba gets it to Lacombe as they're just trying to reset here. Once again, Vielwashi and Moore's alignment. You caught Carlson. The Ducks do tip it into the offensive zone, but Edmonton is able to get there. Edmonton in their regular blue jerseys, blue pants, the orange shoulder straps. Ducks in their white jerseys with orange pants and their orange shoulder straps. So good stuff there. Once again, they're just showing the Oilers line combinations as the Edmonton Oilers do gain offensive zone. And once again, they do have to tag up. It looks like it was an offside call. But Coles and Nugent Hopkins and Hyman are one of the lines tonight. So very interesting note there. Once again, McDavid was looking pretty good towards the end of that game 4 between Edmonton and Anaheim, but he was not able to put one home. So interesting to note there. We'll see how that game goes. Once again, I'm hoping that the Ducks get the job done tonight and they don't have to go back to Game 6, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Oilers send it back to Anaheim. Once again, I'm hoping that the Minnesota Wild are able to hold on to their lead and beat the Dallas Stars. Would love to see them advance to round 2. So once again, we shall see. Minnesota-Colorado will be a very interesting series, having the fact that you'd have Hughes against Makar. I know Haskin and Makar have been met in the postseason in the past couple of years, but it'd be very interesting to see how Hughes and Makar face in the postseason. And once again, they're just showing some of the lines. Once again, Edmonton having some trouble getting the offensive line. Edmonton's going to loop back in their own zone, tip it in. Nice play there from Edmonton. John Carlson's going to get it around the boards and gets into the neutral zone. And Edmonton's going to get back into the Anaheim net zone. Anaheim's going to reposition themselves. Once again, Edmonton scored 43 seconds in, so Anaheim's already doing better than they did in the last game. Let's see. Edmonton loops it around the boards, and Anaheim is able to intercept it. But once again, the puck goes into the neutral zone. The overtime's just starting here between Boston and Buffalo. Just go over here for a sec, guys. We'll get back to the other games later. Boston Buffalo is just getting underway. We're 20 seconds into overtime. Buffalo has the puck. McLeod's got it. McLeod entering the offensive zone, passes it to the point. Quinn cannot find it. They do keep the offensive zone pressure going, though. Quinn to the point to whoever's partner that was. Boston, though, does gain possession. Boston, remember, next goal wins here. Pastrnak in the offensive zone, gets it over across, below the goal line to Lyon. Pass Lyon. Middlestead's now got it. Middlestead, and they lose the puck. Thompson tries to get out, and he does. Nice play from Tage Thompson, and Boston is able to get back into the offensive zone, dump it into the offensive zone. Lindholm out there against Byram, fighting for the puck, and Boston is able to get there. It's Geeky. Geeky walking in, shoots, and Lindholm can't get there. Krebs has it, and Buffalo is able to gain possession. Here come the Buffalo Sabres. Dump it down into the Boston zone. Swayman gets it back to Aspiro. Aspiro, nice play. And Buffalo's going to be able to get it back after the Boston Bruins lose possession. Here comes Buffalo again. Here's Big Logan Stanley. Gets it, chips it into the offensive zone, and Benson chases after it. McAvoy gets it to Aspiro. Aspiro sends it down the ice to the Buffalo Sabres zone, takes a good couple of bounces, and Buffalo's able to gain possession in the defensive zone. Buffalo tips it in. Nice play from Benson. Kozak goes after the hit. Nice play from Kozak. And remember, Buffalo's doing this all down 1-4. Austin has not played since the earlier stages of the first period. Lyon loops it back around the boards, gets it, and now here comes maybe a 3-on-2 for the Buffalo Sabres. Here comes, I think that's Benson. Back, shoots, and it just trickles wide. Nice try. And now Krebs, I think, back to Benson. Benson fighting for the puck, but he loses it. Now maybe a little bit of an odd man rush here for Boston. Here come the Boston Bruins. And Huznadinov drops it off for no one, and now Buffalo is going to be able to gain possession back. Benson to McLeod. McLeod racing in, stops up, looks for some sort of passing lane, gets it across to the point, back shoots, and that one just went wide. Nice try there from the Buffalo Sabres. Boston going to gain possession. We have 2.5 minutes gone in overtime, which I should actually be changing that here, and it is a 1-1 score. Boston's got it. Let's see here in the offensive zone for the Boston Bruins. Let's see here. Puck Olsen has opened the scoring for Edmonton, but we'll get to that later. Byram's got it. Byram trying to get across. Boston keeps it in. Boston sends it down below the goal line. And let's see here. Boston holding in. Scores! Boston wins it! Oh, wait, they're waving it off. No goal. Let's see if this is going to count or not. It did go into the net, but the referee immediately waved it off. Let's see what's the call here. Hold on, guys. And let's see. It got into the front. And, they're saying Corrali pushed it in after Lyon had already froze it. Yeah, the puck was underneath Lyon's pads, and he was just waiting for the whistle, and then Corrali moved his pad into the net. So I don't think that's going to be counted a goal. We'll see. Once again, I don't know if the whistle gone. I can't hear it, so I don't know, but it looks like I don't know if that's going to count or not. Once again, they're saying no goal because the player pushed the puck across the goal line with the pad underneath it. So, yeah, okay, that makes sense. So no goal. We'll play on in overtime with 17:02 left in the first overtime period with the Buffalo Sabres trying to end the series and the Boston Bruins trying to stay alive. Corrali, yeah, that puck was underneath Lyon's pads, and he just pushed the puck in with the pad with it. So no goal on the ice. Corrali, a little bit in disbelief that wasn't called a goal. And 25-22 shots for the Boston Bruins, and was a 1-1 score. And remember, Edmonton just opened the scoring for that score, so we'll change that in a minute. Buffalo's got it. They get it into the Boston zone. Boston gets possession. And now here comes Boston, dumps it in past the red line, and Buffalo doesn't get into the Buffalo zone. Buffalo and Boston fighting for it along the wall. Buffalo is able to get there, and they chip it off the boards, gets it back into the Boston zone. Boston regroups, trying to gain possession again. Hampus Lindholm in the defensive zone gets it to, I think that's Pavel Zacha. Zacha bodies off Byram, trying to get into the front, shoots, and that's stopped by Lyon. Boston does keep it. Lindholm shoots, stopped, and now Buffalo gets it. Buffalo trying to get there, and this might be a little bit of a break here for the Buffalo Sabres. Here's Malenstein, who hits it into the offensive zone. Malenstein trying to fight for it with a couple of the Bruins players. The puck goes around, but Buffalo does keep possession. Back to the point. Shoots! And I think that one hit one of the players in front. Buffalo can't keep it in. And the puck goes out. I think it hit a couple of bodies. Goes back into the defensive zone for Buffalo. Samuelson there to get it, being chased by Morgan Geekie, and he gets it, and he's going to try and reset some things. Samuelson to Dahlin. Dahlin dumps the puck past the red line, and it goes off the wide. It goes wide of the net. Buffalo's got it, though. Thompson tries to put something in net in front. Can't. The puck does stay in the offensive zone for a second, though. Peak looking for some sort of a passing lane or at least to clear it, and Peak does clear it. Down the ice, icing waved off by the linesman. And now here's Matthias Samuelson, gets it up. Here's Krebs. He's got a little bit of space. Shoots! And that one, I think, went over the net. Krebs looking for some sort of a passing lane. Doan, he's got it. He's hit off the puck, but he gets the back. Nice play from Josh Doan. Doan looking for some sort of passing lane. Shoots! Stopped, but Krebs gets it below the goal line. Krebs to the point to Stanley. Stanley to the point. Shoots again! And I think that one hit off of a player, and I think that one deflected out of play. A couple of good shots there for Buffalo, but they can't put anything past Swayman. We're 5 minutes into overtime, and was still a 1-1 scoreline. So very interesting to note there. Let's see here. Once again, yeah, just a couple of good shots from Boston earlier on. Once again, there's 14 minutes left in the first period in the Oilers-Ducks game. So this is a similar time frame to the Edmonton Oilers-Anaheim Ducks first period. So we shall wait and see what happens there. Lyon so far made 26 stops on 27 shots. There's an offensive zone faceoff draw here for the Boston Bruins. Bruins are out shooting the Sabres 2-1 in overtime. And the Boston Bruins lose the puck. But they do get it back. Aspiro across McAvoy, and now they get it back. McAvoy back to Aspiro, gets it to the red line, and clears it. Nice play there. Lyon sends it, trying to get a stretch feed, can't. And this puck looks like it's going to go all the way down for icing on the Buffalo Sabres with 14:52 left in the first overtime period. So very interesting to note there. Let's see here. 27-22 shots for the Boston Bruins, and there'll be another defensive zone faceoff draw here for the Buffalo Sabres. Once again, I wouldn't be surprised if Boston wins, but I would love to see Buffalo end it here on home ice. KeyBank Center would be buzzing. Here come the Buffalo Sabres. Kozak against Zacha. And this is going to be Buffalo winning the draw. Stanley's got it, looking for some sort of a passing lane. Stanley, and he gets into the offensive zone, and he dumps it down. And now here's Aspiro, who's going to get the puck along the line. And once again, it goes back into the Buffalo zone. Boston can't keep possession. Byram off the wall, tries to get to Quinn, can't, but Quinn does wind up getting possession of the puck. Buffalo trying to restart something in their own zone. Buffalo gets it to McLeod. McLeod racing in, trying to go through everyone. He almost does, but he can't get past the last guy. And Buffalo does keep possession. Wraparound shoots, trying to get past Zucker, and he can't. Zucker can't get past Swayman. Buffalo does keep the line for a second, but now Boston clears it, and Buffalo has to go chase after it. Thank you for all of your support. Love to hear your guys' thoughts down in the chat. Boston Scotted, pass in front, and stopped by Lyon. Nice stop with Geekie wide open. Geekie once again, or Janot actually once again, fighting for it, and Thompson's able to get there. Thompson looking for some sort of stretch feed here. Thompson gets into the offensive zone to Zucker, dumps it in. Thompson goes after it, and Buffalo's changing, so Boston's going to be able to regain possession. 13 minutes left in overtime. Boston dumps it back into the Buffalo zone. Samuelson's got it. Samuelson dumps it down. And now Dahlin loses it. Boston's able to get there. Jeannot to Kostelic. Kostelic cannot do it. And now here's Tage Thompson back across for the Buffalo Sabres. And now maybe a little bit of some space here. Quinn can't shoot it. Now he does. And that's stopped by Swayman. Peak's got it. Back to the walls. Kostelic now sends it down. And Kostelic is going to, I think that's an icing call because I don't think he had reached the red line. So I think this is going to be an offensive zone faceoff draw here for Buffalo with 13-10 left in overtime and a 28-23 shot lead for Boston, but it is still a tie game. Lyon Swayman have been brilliant in this one. Reminiscent of that first game that Lyon played in Game 3 between Boston and Buffalo, but Buffalo was able to get it done in regulation. So tonight we'll have to see if they're able to get it done in overtime. Zucker's out there right now with, I think, McLeod and one of the other players, and McLeod is not able to win it. Boston is able to win the draw, and they dump it back into the neutral zone. Byram's got it. Back to his D partner, and now I think that's Power. Power gets it to McLeod. McLeod loops it back in, glove down by Swayman. He's going to get an offensive zone faceoff draw to the Buffalo Sabres with 12:55 left in overtime. The first overtime period, that is. So very interesting to note there. Let's see how this game winds up finishing. Once again, it's going to be very bananas in there if Buffalo winds up getting the game winner. Once again, I still think Buffalo has a good chance even if they lose this game. And once again, they're just showing Swayman yelling at his players after that 6-1 demolition by Buffalo a couple nights ago. So once again, both goalies have been fantastic. We'll see if Buffalo is able to get the lead offensive zone faceoff draw here for the Sabres. And I think that's Kozak, and he's going to win it to the point. Pat Timmins across to Stanley. Stanley shoots it, tipped in front, stopped, and now here comes Steves for the Boston Bruins. Alex Steves, and he's going to dump it into the Buffalo zone. Lyon leaves it for one of his defensemen, and Timmins is knocked in the corner. And now Buffalo trying to fight for it, and they do. Here come the Buffalo Sabres. Stanley's got it. He's got streaking Malenstein ahead of him. Malenstein tries to outrace. McAvoy cannot. And now Greenway tried to go for it as well. Here comes Stanley at the point, shoots, and it goes wide. Greenway trying to keep it in, cannot. Isamont passes it. Boston gets it to the red line, and they dump it into the defensive zone for the Buffalo Sabres, and Buffalo is going to try and restart. Steves goes off for a change. There is 12 minutes left in overtime. The first overtime frame, Stanley leaves it for Alex Tuck with Buffalo changing. Buffalo's got it now. They dump it down on Swayman. He makes a stop. Now Buffalo just keep it though. Tuck trying to feed it in front. No one was there. Thompson's now got it. Trying to get a little bit closer. Shoots. And that one stopped. Thompson and Tuck trying to fight for it in the corner. And Boston does get the puck back. Thompson has to re-get a stick. Buffalo is able to get there. Good stuff there from Buffalo. And now they get back in the neutral zone. Here's Krebs. Payne Krebs enters the offensive zone, leaves it for Tuck. Thompson's able to hold the line, passes it back to Dahlin. Or actually, no, Thompson is not able to pass it back to Dahlin. In front! And Krebs is going to loop around. Krebs looking for some sort of a passing lane. Gets it to the point, shoots! And it's stopped. Krebs, though, does keep the zone for a second. He is taken down. I'm not sure if that's going to be a penalty call or not. Let's see. It doesn't look like there's a penalty call on the play. Buffalo's got it, though. Dahlin at the point, shoots, and a shot. Rebound! And Tuck can't put it home. Boston's got it now. Tuck muscling him off the puck. Tuck to the point to Samuelson. Samuelson to Dahlin, shoots! And it's stopped by Swayman. Buffalo, once again, forechecking really, really hardly, but the puck goes out, and they have to regroup. Here's Samuelson. Nice stretch feed here to Krebs. Krebs trying to get some sort of passing lane going. Can't. Boston with the intercept. And maybe a stretch feed here. Here comes Pastrnak, and he scores. David Pastrnak wins it for the Boston Bruins, and they send it to Game 6. David Pastrnak with a beautiful move around Alex Lyon. A fantastic overtime winner from David Pastrnak, and he sends Buffalo fans home upset. Man, beautiful goal there from Pastrnak. Can't lie. Fantastic shot from him. Nice little move around Alex Lyon, and he puts it home. And the Buffalo Sabres are going to have to finish this off in Game 6. That will be happening on Friday. Once again, a nice shot there from Tuck. He tried to put it home. He could not. And his stretch feed to Pastrnak, who just outweights Lyon. Nice little back-forth feed. And he's going to finish it. Nice finish there from the Boston Bruins as they stay alive at least one more night. And they'll be going to a Game 6 on Friday. So that's very interesting. Boston with another nice little bit move back and forth feed. And Lyon with not able to get there. So very interesting note there. But that's going to be a win for the Boston Bruins. Oh yeah, actually, hold on here. Final in overtime. So that's good there for Boston. Let's see here. Let's move this over here. Let's move this a little bit more down. I think Edmonton just made 2-0. Great score there from Pastrnak. He's one of the best goal scorers in the NHL. So great move around Lyon and Boston in a game of inches is going to be able to take down the Buffalo Sabres and win this game. So good win there from the Boston Bruins. They are able to stay alive in the series. Game 6 will wind up being happening on Friday. I will be doing a game live stream. It won't be Sabres Bruins. It'll probably either be Knights Mammoth or Habs Bolts, depending on how tomorrow's games go. But that game will be going on. So there will be 3 games happening over on Friday, 3 game 6s. So interesting note there, Buffalo had a little bit of an opportunity here to still get a win, even though Buffalo had a little bit of opportunity here to get the win, and they still have a little bit more of margin of error. But once again, now they're going to need to go to Boston. They're going to need to win their 3rd time in TD Garden, where they've outscored them 9-2. So very interesting note there. Drysdale just scored again. It's 3-0 Edmonton over the Anaheim Ducks. So that's been a really good start there for the Edmonton Oilers. Let's see here. Wild and Stars. How's that game going right now? Let's see. The Stars just scored. That game 3-2 with 3 minutes left in the 3rd period. I'll stay with you guys for just a couple more seconds just to see if the Minnesota Wild can get this game over the finish line. Minnesota stretch feed. Onger is going to be able to play it. 3 minutes left in the 3rd period with the Wild now up 3-2. Hold on, let's change this thing here. It looks like, yep, Dallas has got it. Passes it back to the point. Minnesota in front. And once again, a nice stop from Jesper Wallstedt. So good stuff there. Hold on a minute here, guys. Just going to try and change these things up on the fly. Dallas dumps it in. Wallstedt gloves it down. 2:46 left in the 3rd period. 3-2. Minnesota leads Dallas. Let's see here. So this will be swapped here. 2-2. So good stuff there for the Stars late in the 3rd period. And then this one will go to 3-0 Edmonton, who have come out flying against the Anaheim Ducks. Once again, Anaheim has come up back in every single game they've won in that series. So I wouldn't say it's over yet, but Edmonton has had a very fantastic start. Looks like Anger's on the bench. Minnesota's going to try and ice this. Dallas is going to try and push for that extra goal. Minnesota's going to try and ice it. Let's see who ends up winning. It was Robertson who got the goal. So really good stuff there for the Minnesota Wild. Really good stuff there for the Dallas Stars. Wild going to try and have this one finish out. It's going to be Foligno in the faceoff dot against, I can't see who that is. Robertson is on the ice, though, here for the Dallas Stars. It's Foligno against Johnston, and Nick Foligno loses the draw. Dallas gets it. Robertson overskates the puck. He's going to be able to keep it in the zone, though. 2.5 left in the 3rd period. Minnesota just needs basically an empty netter to seal this game and get them the victory. Here comes Dallas. Once again, they're fighting along the boards. Dallas and Minnesota. And it is taken by Minnesota. Nice play. Backhands it into the neutral zone by the Wild. 2:20 left in the 3rd period. Dallas is going to be able to get them. And Heiskanen into the red line and dumps it down. Once again, Minnesota goes after the puck. Middleton out there against Robertson. Once again, Dallas is on attack 6-on-5 right now. And the Minnesota Wild do get it. This might be a little bit of a break here for the Wild. Tries to get it around. And Wild may have inside position. Shoots. Scores. The Wild are going to take a 4-2 lead. I think that was Joel Eriksson while he was falling down. Puts into the empty net. If this one gets to the 30-second mark and there's still a 4-2 score, I'm just going to turn it off. But still, very interesting note there that the Minnesota Wild look like they're about to take this strangled 3-2 series lead. So they said they'll have a chance to clinch it on home ice on Thursday in a game that I will be streaming. So that's going to be great. Heiskanen slaps the stick into his net in frustration after that one went in. It was actually Kaprizov who put it into the empty net. Beautiful stuff there from Kaprizov. Great goal from the Minnesota Wild, who have worked extraordinarily hard in this game to take this game, and they wind up winning it. So good stuff there. And the Minnesota Wild do end up taking the 3-2 series. It looks like the Minnesota Wild will be taking this 3-2 series lead. McCarron's got it. I'm guessing the Stars are probably going to be pulling the goalie again. Let's see here. And yep, goalie is pulled. It's the 17th career playoff goal for Kaprizov in franchise history. So Kaprizov now leads all Minnesota Wild skaters in most goals in franchise history. Kaprizov's such a good player, bud. Harley puts it in the net and goes up and over play. A minute and a half left, 3rd period, 4-2 Wild lead now. So good stuff there for Minnesota. Let's see here. Hold on a minute here, guys. Minnesota's going to go over to 4 goals. Once again, they're just showing you the schedule for tomorrow. No live streams are going to be happening tomorrow, but we will be having a couple live streams on Thursday and Friday. I'm going to try and get a couple on the weekend, so we'll see how that goes. Dallas Stars fans are leaving the arena, so not interested. So interesting to note there, as it looks like Minnesota's just about wrapped that game up. Once again, Edmonton's up 3-0 middle of the first period, and Boston, like we talked about in our game, won 2-1 in overtime thanks to an overtime winner from David Pastrnak. So really good stuff there. We'll see if Minnesota is able to get this one across the finish line. Once again, a minute and a half left. Offensive zone faceoff draw here for Dallas with the goalie pulled, and Dallas is able to win it. Duchesne's got it to Ben. Duchesne has his stick broken, and he can't really do anything here. And there's going to be, I think, a slashing call on one of the Wild players. So the Stars are going to get a power play here with a minute 23 left and a 4-2 deficit. I think it's Bogosian who's going to be going to the box. So good, interesting to note there. Let's see here. It is a 2-minute minor for slashing on. No, it's actually Captain Jared Spurgeon who's going to the bench for the Minnesota Wild. So interesting note there. Slash on Matt Duchene's stick. And once again, the Stars are going to have a 6-on-4 attack here for a minute and 23 seconds. So very interesting to note there. Let's see here how this one's going to go. Hold on a minute here, folks. Stars have an offensive zone face-off draw, and the Stars are going to win it. Back to the point. Heiskanen's got it. Heiskanen to Rantanen. Rantanen shoots, and it was blocked. Middleton trying to get it, and he can't. Now he does, and he chips it. Can't get it along the boards. Too many Dallas Stars players there. Stars keep it in for the time being, and now it goes out. Minute 7 seconds left in the third period. Still 4-2 Minnesota. Here comes Dallas coming into the offensive zone, and Foligno is going to pass it back to Middleton, who tries for the empty net, and they can clear it because there's no icing on a shorthanded chance. 50 seconds left. It doesn't go in the empty net. Dallas trying to reset in the center ice zone. Johnston into the offensive zone, trying to get back, and they can't. And the puck goes back down the ice. There's 38 seconds left in this game, with the Dallas Stars losing 4-2 to the Minnesota Wild. Rantanen trying to get something going here. 30 seconds left. Dallas trying to mount some miraculous comeback. Rantanen loops around, gets it back to the point. Heiskanen can keep it in for just a second here. 20 seconds left. Heiskanen keeps it, and Ben gets it now. Ben to Rantanen, 15 seconds left. They got to get a shot away. Rantanen to Duchesne, to Johnston, but he can't put it in. 10 seconds left. 9, 8. They keep it in the offensive zone. Rantanen's got it, shoots it, and it goes wide. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The Minnesota Wild win 4-2 over the Dallas Stars and are a win away from breaking their cursed playoff series winning droughts. And they, on Thursday, in a game that I will be streaming on Thursday, will have a shot to win the series in 6 games. Great stuff there from the Minnesota Wild, and a fantastic victory in Game 5. So good stuff there. Minnesota's just won the game. Edmonton Anaheim is still in the first period with the Oilers up 3-0. So we'll keep an eye on how that game's going. But still very interesting note there. Thank you guys all for tuning into my live stream. My next live stream will be the next Minnesota-Dallas game on Thursday. There's no game time set. It will probably be set after the Ducks-Oilers game. So that will be very interesting to note there. Once again, we'll see what time it is. But Minnesota-Dallas on Thursday, I will be streaming. I'll also be streaming a game on Friday. Don't know yet if it's Utah, Vegas, or Montreal, Tampa, but I will be streaming one of those 2 games, as we will have 3 Game 6s on. We will have 3 Game 6s on Friday, so very interesting. Then I'll try and get to as many Game 7s as I possibly can. We'll see how it goes, but those are the next game streams that I'm going to be doing over the next couple of days. Once again, stay tuned for more videos coming out either later today. I do have a couple of videos that I might post later tonight, so stay tuned for that. I also have a couple of videos that I might post over the next couple of days, so stay tuned for all of those ones. We'll have power ratings tomorrow, maybe a trade rumor video here today. We'll also have continuously daily game recap, fan reaction videos, so I hope you guys stay tuned for those ones. Once again, if you guys are leaving, leave a subscribe, like, comment, tell your friends. Best hockey content on YouTube is right here at the Into It Hockey channel. Thank you guys for tuning into my live stream. I really do appreciate it, and I can't wait to see you guys all for the next one and the next videos. Stay tuned. We're going to be doing some more videos coming out in the very near future. God bless y'all, and I'll see y'all in the next one.